Do you have any idea what you just did? The question hung in the air of the dimmed restaurant, spoken not in anger, but in something far more dangerous. Quiet disbelief. The kind that comes right before everything changes forever. Let me tell you something about power. Real power isn't about who can hurt you. It's about who you choose not to destroy even when you could end them with a single move. It's about the restraint that comes from knowing exactly how much damage your hands can do and choosing mercy anyway. Karma has a funny way of putting the right people in the wrong place at exactly the perfect time. Sometimes the universe needs to teach a lesson, and sometimes it uses the most unlikely teachers. Hey, how are you all doing today? I hope wherever you are, whatever you're watching this on, you're comfortable. Because you're going to want to stay right where you are for this one. Trust me. This is the kind of story that gets under your skin and stays there. The kind you'll be thinking about days from now. My name is Elena Carter. I'm 28 years old, and 3 months ago, I broke a Mafia boss's jaw in front of 47 witnesses. Today, that same man owns half the city, has enough power to make people disappear with a phone call, and somehow, impossibly, he's standing in my tiny apartment asking me to trust him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the story of how I went from being a ghost, a nobody serving eggs and coffee while pretending my hands didn't remember how to kill, to the one person who could make the most dangerous man in the city feel something other than cold calculation. This is about the night I stopped hiding and remembered exactly who I used to be. If you're still with me, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I want to know who's riding this journey with me. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's going to sound impossible. But I promise you, every word is true. Let me start from the beginning. I was 23 when I realized I was different from other people. Not special, not better. Just different. While my college roommates were stressing about midterms and bad dates, I was excelling in ways that caught the wrong kind of attention. Or maybe the right kind, depending on how you look at it. I had this thing. This ability to stay calm when everyone else panicked. To see patterns where others saw chaos. To move fast, think faster, and never, ever freeze. The recruiters found me during my senior year. They didn't tell me which agency. They didn't have to. You don't ask questions when men in unmarked suits show up with job offers that come with 20-year non-disclosure agreements. They showed me videos of hostage situations, terrorist cells, impossible scenarios where one person with the right training could do what entire military units couldn't. They told me I had a gift. They told me my country needed me. I believed them. God, I believed every word. I spent the next 4 years becoming someone else. Someone efficient. Someone who could slip into a compound with 12 armed guards and extract a target without firing a single shot. Someone who learned 17 ways to kill with everyday objects and 32 ways to disappear in a crowded city. They erased Elena Carter, the girl who wanted to teach elementary school, and built something sharper. Something useful. I was good at it. Better than good. My handler called me a ghost. Said I moved through the world like I wasn't really there, like reality bent around me just enough to let me slip through unnoticed. I completed 19 missions in 4 years. 19 times I did the impossible and came home clean. Then came mission 20. I'm not going to tell you what the mission was. I can't. But I can tell you it involved 3 governments, a lie that went all the way to the top, and a choice between following orders and doing what was right. I chose right. I chose to pull 6 innocent people out of a kill zone instead of leaving them to burn like my orders specified. That choice made me a liability. They burned me. That's the term they use. Burned. Like you're just paper, just something disposable they can set on fire and forget about. My credentials were erased. My identity was flagged in every database that mattered. My bank accounts were frozen. My apartment was cleared out. My entire life was deleted like I never existed. The people I saved testified they'd never seen me. The governments involved denied everything. And my own agency, the people I bled for, they labeled me unstable, paranoid, a fabricator seeking attention. I became nothing overnight. For 6 months, I lived on the street. Former Black Ops special soldier, The woman who'd infiltrated Russian intelligence networks and extracted hostages from cartel compounds, sleeping in doorways and eating from trash bins. You learn real fast that your training doesn't mean anything when you don't legally exist. Can't rent an apartment without ID. Can't get a legitimate job without passing a background check. Can't even buy a phone without leaving a trail. I thought about ending it more times than I can count, but something kept me going. Maybe it was spite. Maybe it was the stubborn part of me that refused to give them the satisfaction. Maybe I was just too tired to even die properly. Then I met Dorothy. Dorothy Nguyen owned a small diner in the industrial district. The kind of place where truckers and night shift workers grab coffee at 3 in the morning. She found me behind her dumpster one freezing November night, shaking so hard I couldn't stand. She didn't ask questions, didn't call the cops, just brought me inside, fed me soup, and offered me a cot in her storage room. You running from something or someone? She asked me that first night. Both, I told her. It was the truth. She nodded like that made perfect sense. You willing to work? I would have scrubbed toilets with my bare hands for a warm place to sleep. Yes. Can you waitress? I almost laughed. I could infiltrate a terror cell, but waiting tables? That felt harder somehow. More exposed. I can learn. Dorothy taught me everything. How to balance 4 plates at once. How to remember orders without writing them down. How to smile at customers even when they were rude, even when every instinct I had was screaming to defend myself. She got me a fake ID, paid under the table, and never once asked me where I'd come from or why I flinched every time the door chimed. I worked at Dorothy's Diner for 2 years. 2 years of pretending I was normal. 2 years of forcing my hands to stay gentle when they remembered nothing but violence. 2 years of serving coffee and pancakes while the best part of me slowly went numb. I was good at being invisible now. Better than when I was operational. I learned to blur into the background, to be so unremarkable that people looked right through me. The regulars knew me as Ellie, the quiet waitress who never talked about herself. They had no idea that the woman refilling their coffee had once taken down 6 armed men in 43 seconds. I told myself this was better, safer, that I'd left that life behind and it couldn't touch me anymore. I was so sure I'd buried that part of myself deep enough that it would never resurface. Then Lorenzo Moretti walked into Dorothy's Diner. It was a Tuesday night, late, almost midnight. We were about to close. Just me, Dorothy in the back counting the register, and Carl the cook wiping down the grill. The dinner rush was long over. I was refilling salt shakers, moving through the familiar routine, when the door opened. 3 men walked in first. Big men. The kind who move like they're used to people getting out of their way. They wore expensive suits, but there was something wrong about how they wore them. Like putting silk on a pitbull. They scanned the room with the practiced efficiency of security sweeping for threats. Then he walked in. I noticed his shoes first. Handmade Italian leather, probably cost more than I made in 6 months. Then the suit, perfectly tailored, dark gray that looked black in the dim light. Then his face. Lorenzo Moretti was maybe 35, with dark hair that fell naturally away from his face like he'd just run his hands through it. Sharp jawline. Dark eyes that missed nothing. Handsome in that dangerous way that makes smart people nervous. He moved with the kind of confidence that comes from never having to question whether you're the most powerful person in any room. Because you always are. I knew who he was. Everyone in this city knew who Lorenzo Moretti was. The newspapers called him a businessman, a real estate developer, the owner of hotels and restaurants and half the commercial properties downtown. But everyone knew the truth. Lorenzo Moretti ran the largest organized crime operation in 3 states. Drugs, gambling, protection, trafficking. If it was illegal and profitable, Moretti had his fingers in it. And now he was in Dorothy's Diner at midnight with 3 bodyguards. "We're about to close," I said, keeping my voice level. Professional. The way Dorothy taught me. One of the bodyguards stepped forward. "Mr. Moretti would like a table." Not a question. A statement of fact. I should have been afraid. Any normal person would have been terrified. But fear was something they'd trained out of me years ago. Fear makes you hesitate. Hesitation gets you killed. So instead of fear, I felt nothing. Just that familiar, cold emptiness I knew too well. Of course, I said. Right this way. I led them to the corner booth, the one with a clear view of both exits and the kitchen door. Lorenzo slid in, his guards taking positions that blocked the front entrance and the hallway to the bathrooms. Classic security formation. Probably overkill for a diner in the industrial district, but men like Lorenzo didn't survive by being careless. What can I get you? I asked, pulling out my order pad. Lorenzo didn't look at me. He was scrolling through his phone, fingers moving quickly across the screen. Espresso. Black. We don't have an espresso machine. I can do regular coffee. His eyes lifted then. Dark. Flat. The kind of eyes that have seen too much and feel too little. Then why did you ask what I wanted? One of the guards snickered. I kept my expression neutral. I'll get you coffee. I turned to walk away. Wait. I stopped. Something in his tone made my instincts prickle. Not fear. Recognition. The same tone interrogators use right before they get mean. What's your name? Lorenzo asked. Ellie. Ellie. He said it slowly, like he was tasting the word. You work here long? 2 years. And you like it? Serving coffee to truck drivers? Cleaning up after people? I met his eyes. It's honest work. Something flickered across his face. Amusement maybe. Or contempt. With men like him, it was hard to tell the difference. Honest work, he repeated. He leaned back in the booth, spreading his arms across the top of the seat. Relaxed. In control. You hear that, Marco? She likes honest work. The guard named Marco grinned. That's rare these days, boss. Lorenzo's attention shifted back to his phone, and I felt the dismissal like a physical thing. I was nothing to him. Less than nothing. Just another face in a long line of people who existed to serve him. I went to get his coffee. Dorothy was in the back, bundling cash into the deposit bag. She looked up when I came through the swinging door, saw something in my face. Everything okay out there?
Fine, I lead.
Just some late customers. We're closed, Ellie.
You can tell them that.
They're not the kind of people you tell no. Dorothy's expression tightened. She'd lived in this city long enough to understand what that meant. How many?
4.
1 at the table, 3 standing guard. Guard. Dorothy set down the deposit bag. Ellie, maybe you should go home. I can handle them.
I've fine.
Sweetie, I know you don't talk about your past, and I respect that. But I also know you've got instincts. If those instincts are telling you to leave, you should listen. My instincts were telling me a lot of things. None of them involved leaving. But I couldn't explain that to Dorothy. Couldn't tell her that men like Lorenzo Moretti registered to me not as threats but as targets. That part of my brain, the part they'd built in those 4 years of training, was already cataloging exits, calculating response times, identifying weapons. The coffee pot in my hand could shatter a skull if swung correctly. The pen in my apron pocket could puncture a carotid artery. The glass salt shakers on every table were blunt force instruments waiting to be used. I forced those thoughts down. That wasn't who I was anymore. That was Elena, the ghost, the operator. I was Ellie now. Ellie who served coffee and smiled at customers and kept her head down.
I've fine, I repeated.
Just coffee. They'll be gone soon. I poured the coffee, added it to a small tray with cream and sugar, even though he'd said black, and pushed back through the door. Lorenzo was on a call now, speaking rapid Italian. I caught enough to understand he was angry about something. A shipment. Delays. Someone not following instructions. His tone was cold, controlled, but there was violence underneath it. The kind of violence that didn't need to be loud to be deadly. I set the coffee down carefully. He ended the call abruptly, mid-sentence from whoever was on the other end. Picked up the cup. Took a sip. Set it back down. This tastes like burnt dirt. It's been sitting since dinner rush, I said. I can make a fresh pot. Don't bother. He pushed the cup away. How much do you make working here? The question caught me off guard.
I'm sorry.
How much
Do you make?
working here? He spoke slowly now like I was stupid. Simple question. I don't think that's any of your business. Marco stepped forward. Mr. Moretti asked you a question. My body responded before my brain caught up. Subtle shifts. Weight transferring to the balls of my feet. Shoulders dropping half an inch. Hands relaxing at my sides. Combat ready, without looking like it. I caught myself. Force stillness. Force normalcy. Minimum wage, I said quietly.
Plutits.
Lorenzo laughed. Actually laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. Minimum wage. You hear that? She makes minimum wage serving coffee that tastes like burnt dirt in a diner that smells like grease. The other guards joined in the laughter.
Performative.
They'd laugh at anything their boss found funny. And you're what? Proud of this? Lorenzo continued. This honest work? You think there's dignity in being poor? In serving people who don't even see you? I think there's dignity in earning your own way, I said. Earning. He said it like a curse. You want to know what earning means? Real earning? I made more in the time it took me to drink that terrible coffee than you'll make in a year. That's earning. Then why are you here? The question came out before I could stop it. If this place is so beneath you, why come in at all? The diner went silent. Marco moved closer. Watch your mouth. But Lorenzo held up a hand. No, it's a good question. He leaned forward. I'm here because I own this building. I own the 3 buildings on either side of it. I own the entire block. And I'm trying to decide if this little diner is worth keeping or if I should tear it down and put up something that actually makes money. My stomach dropped. You're lying. Am I? He pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then turned the screen toward me. Property records. Dorothy's Diner, 1247, Industrial Boulevard. Owner, Moretti Holdings, LLC. Purchase date, 6 months ago. Dorothy didn't know. She'd been paying rent to a management company that never told her the building had been sold. So, when I ask how much you make, Lorenzo continued, I'm doing research. Trying to understand what kind of people work in places like this. Trying to decide if any of you are worth the trouble of relocating when I bulldoze this dump.
Rage.
White hot and sudden. It flooded through me before I could lock it down. Not for me. For Dorothy. For the woman who'd saved my life, who'd given me a chance when I had nothing, who'd built this place from nothing and poured 30 years of her life into it.
This isn't a dump, I said.
My voice was too quiet, too controlled. The way it used to sound right before a mission went loud. This is Dorothy's life. She's built something here. Something real. Something real. Lorenzo stood up. He was tall. At least 6'2". He moved around the table, coming closer. You want to know what's real? Money is real. Power is real. Everything else is just people lying to themselves to feel better about being weak. He was standing right in front of me now. Close enough that I could smell his cologne. Expensive. Probably cost more than my monthly rent. You're weak, he said softly. All of you. Working your pathetic jobs. Pretending you matter. But you don't. You're invisible. You only exist because people like me allow you to exist. Is that what you tell yourself? I asked. To make it okay? That everyone else is weak, so whatever you do to them doesn't count. His eyes narrowed. Be very careful how you speak to me. Or what? You'll tear down the diner? Sounds like you're planning that anyway. Marco grabbed my arm. His grip was tight enough to bruise. You need to apologize to Mr. Moretti. Right now. I looked down at his hand on my arm, looked at the specific pressure points his fingers were creating, calculated the exact angle and force needed to break his grip, hyperextend his elbow, and put him face first into the nearest table. 3 seconds. That's all it would take. But then what? Then I'd be exposed. Then they'd want to know who I was, how I could move like that. Then everything I'd buried for 2 years would come flooding back. So I did nothing. Just stood there while Marco's grip tightened. Let her go, Lorenzo said. Marco released me immediately. Lorenzo stepped even closer. We were inches apart now. I'm going to give you a chance, he said. Because I'm feeling generous tonight. You're going to apologize for being disrespectful. You're going to tell me you understand your place. And then you're going to bring me something better than that garbage coffee, and we're going to forget this conversation happened. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to move,
To act.
to make him regret every word. But I couldn't. I had to be Ellie. Ellie who kept her head down. Ellie who survived by being invisible. I'm sorry, I forced out.
The words tasted like ash.
Sorry what? I'm sorry for being disrespectful. And I understand my place. He smiled. Good girl.
See?
That wasn't so hard. Now go get me something decent to drink. I turned to walk away. That's when he spit on me. I felt it hit the back of my neck.
Warm.
Deliberate. Not accidental spray, from talking. A purposeful act of contempt. The diner went completely silent. I stopped walking. Every muscle in my body locked into place. My hands, relaxed at my sides a moment ago, were suddenly fists. My breathing, steady and controlled, came faster. Behind me, I heard Marco laugh nervously. Boss, that's cold. She needs to learn, Lorenzo said. They all need to learn. I turned around slowly. Lorenzo was smiling. Actually smiling. Like this was funny. Like degrading another human being was entertainment. You have something to say? He asked. I didn't speak. Couldn't trust my voice. That's what I thought. Now clean yourself up and get back to work. You're lucky I don't make you lick it off the floor. More laughter from the guards. And something inside me, something I'd kept locked down for 2 years, something I'd buried under layers of normal and safe and invisible, that something broke free. I moved. Not with thought. Not with planning.
Pure instinct.
Muscle memory from 4 years of training and 19 missions where hesitation meant death. 3 steps forward. Weight transfer.
Hypnotatino.
Every ounce of force in my body channeling through my shoulder, through my arm, through my fist. The punch caught Lorenzo directly on the jaw. I felt bone break. Felt his head snap to the side. Felt the exact moment his brain registered the impact and his legs stopped working.
He dropped.
Just collapsed like someone had cut his strings. Hit the floor hard. Didn't move. The diner erupted into chaos. Marco reached for his gun. I was already moving. Caught his wrist, twisted, felt the small bones grind against each other. The gun clattered to the floor. I swept his legs and put him down in less than 2 seconds. The second guard came at me. Bigger than Marco. Slower. I ducked under his swing, drove my elbow into his solar plexus, and he folded like paper. The third guard had his gun out.
Pointed at me.
Shaking. Don't move, he said. Don't you move. I froze. Hands up. But not scared. Not anymore. Lorenzo was trying to sit up. Blood poured from his mouth. His jaw hung at a wrong angle. He couldn't speak, could only make these wet, pained sounds. The guard with the gun kept it trained on me. Who the hell are you? Good question.
Who was I?
Ellie, the quiet waitress? Or Elena, the ghost who could take down 12 armed men without breaking a sweat? I didn't get a chance to answer. The kitchen door burst open and Dorothy came running out, carrying her old baseball bat. Carl was right behind her with a kitchen knife. Get away from her, Dorothy shouted. Dorothy, no, I started. But she was already swinging. I caught the guard with the gun across his forearms. He yelped, dropped the weapon. Carl kicked it away. Dorothy positioned herself between me and Lorenzo, bat raised. Get out. All of you.
Get out of my diner right now.
Marco was trying to help Lorenzo up. The boss's eyes found mine. Even through the pain, even with his broken jaw, the look he gave me was pure murder. You're dead, Marco said for him. You understand that?
You're dead.
He's going to kill you. He's going to kill everyone you've ever known.
Try it, Dorothy said.
She was 73 years old, barely 5 feet tall, and holding a baseball bat like she meant it. Come back here. Please. Give me a reason. They dragged Lorenzo out. His blood left a trail across Dorothy's clean floor. The door slammed behind them. And then it was just the 3 of us.
Me.
Dorothy.
Carl.
Standing in the empty diner like survivors of a tornado. Dorothy lowered the bat.
Turned to look at me.
Ellie? Sweetie? What did you just do? I looked down at my hands. They were steady, not shaking at all. The hands of someone who'd done this kind of thing before. Many times before.
I'm sorry, he whispered.
Dorothy, I'm so sorry.
Sorry?
She dropped the bat. Came closer. Sorry for what? For defending yourself? For standing up to that animal? For bringing this to your door? For making you a target? For ruining everything you've built? Hey. She grabbed my face with both hands. Forced me to look at her. You listened to me. That man spit on you. Treated you like dirt. You had every right to defend your dignity. You don't understand. That was Lorenzo Moretti.
He owns this building.
He has the power to destroy you. Destroy all of us. And I just broke his jaw in front of his own men. Dorothy's face went pale. Lorenzo Moretti. The Lorenzo Moretti. I nodded.
Oh.
She sat down heavily in the nearest booth. Oh no. Carl was already at the door, locking it. We need to call the police. The police work for him, I said. Half of them are on his payroll. Calling them would just make things worse. Then what do we do?
Carl asked.
I looked at the blood on the floor, at the shattered remains of the coffee cup, at Dorothy's face, pale with fear, and realized what I'd done. I'd blown my cover, exposed myself, and worse, I'd painted a target on the only people who'd shown me kindness in the last 2 years. You don't do anything, I said.
Ida.
I'm the one he'll want. I'm the one who humiliated him. You're not going out there alone, Dorothy said. He'll kill you. Maybe. But maybe not. I thought about the look in Lorenzo's eyes right before he fell. Not just pain. Not just shock. Something else. Something I'd seen before in the eyes of men who'd underestimated their opponents. Recognition. Respect.
Fear.
I need to leave, I said.
Right now.
If I'm not here, maybe he'll leave you alone. Maybe he'll just come after me.
Ella. No.
This is my diner. I'm not letting you run because of me. Dorothy. I knelt down in front of her booth. You saved my life 2 years ago. You gave me a chance when no one else would. You treated me like family. This is me returning the favor. Let me protect you the only way I can. She was crying now, tears streaming down her weathered face. Where will you go? I didn't have an answer. I'd burned all my bridges, had no contacts, no resources, no identity beyond the fake documents Dorothy had helped me get. I'll figure something out, I said. I always do. I went to the back, grabbed my jacket and the small bag I kept in my locker. Everything I owned fit in one backpack. That's what happens when you learn to live like a ghost. You stop accumulating things that tie you down. When I came back out, Dorothy was standing by the door. She pressed something into my hand.
Cash.
At least $2,000. Dorothy, I can't. Yes, you can. Consider it severance pay. She tried to smile.
Failed.
Plus, you never did get proper employee benefits. I hugged her, held on tight. Thank you. For everything. Stay safe, sweetie. And Ellie? Whoever you really are, whatever you did before you came here, I don't care. You're a good person. Don't forget that. I left through the back door, into the alley behind the diner. The city stretched out before me, dark and full of shadows. Somewhere out there, Lorenzo Moretti was getting his jaw wired shut and planning his revenge. Somewhere out there, I had a target on my back bigger than any I'd carried during my operational years. But here's what Lorenzo didn't know. What none of them knew. I wasn't afraid. I'd spent 2 years pretending to be weak. Pretending to be normal. Pretending that the person I used to be was gone forever. But she wasn't gone. She was just sleeping. And now she was awake. I spent that first night in a $20 motel on the east side. The kind of place where you pay cash and nobody asks questions. The room smelled like cigarettes and mildew. The bed was harder than the floor, and the neon sign outside my window buzzed like an angry wasp. But it had 4 walls and a lock, and right now that was enough. I sat on the edge of the bed, counting Dorothy's money. $2,300. Enough to disappear for a few weeks if I was careful. Enough to get out of the city entirely if I moved fast. But something stopped me from planning my exit. I kept thinking about Lorenzo's face right before my fist connected. That split second where he realized what was about to happen. Where the most powerful man in the city understood he'd made a terrible mistake. I'd seen that look before. In terror cells when they realized the terrified hostage they'd captured was actually the extraction team. In cartel leaders, right before their own security turned on them. In politicians when evidence of their corruption went public. It was the look of someone whose world just shifted on its axis. And here's the thing about men like Lorenzo Moretti. They don't forget. They don't forgive. But more than that, they don't let anyone walk away after making them look weak. Especially not in front of their own men. He would come for me. That was certain. The only question was when. I lay back on the bed, staring at the water-stained ceiling, and let myself remember things I'd worked hard to forget. My real name is Elena Marie Carter. I was born in Portland, Oregon. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a high school history teacher. Normal people. Good people. They raised me to believe in things like justice and fairness and doing the right thing even when it cost you. I wonder what they'd think of me now. The nurse and the teacher who raised a daughter that became a weapon. They died in a car accident when I was 19. Drunk driver, wrong place, wrong time. I was in my sophomore year of college when I got the call. After the funeral, after settling the estate, after realizing I was completely alone in the world, something in me hardened.
Crystallized.
I stopped believing the world was fair. Started believing it was something you had to fight for every single day. That's when I threw myself into training. Martial arts. Weapons. Strategy. I told myself it was about self-defense, about never being helpless. But really I was building armor. Trying to become strong enough that nothing could ever hurt me again. The recruiters saw that hunger in me. That need to be useful. To matter. To turn pain into purpose. They made me promises. Told me I could make a difference. Could save lives. Could be part of something bigger than my own grief. I believed them because I needed to believe them. My handler's name was Richard Castellano. I called him Castle. He was 52, former Marine, 20 years in the intelligence community. He had kind eyes and a soft voice, and he treated me like I was his own daughter.
Taught me everything.
Not just the physical skills, the tactical training, but the mental game. How to compartmentalize. How to turn off your emotions like a light switch. How to do terrible things for good reasons and still sleep at night. You're not a killer, Elena, he told me after my first wet work assignment. I'd eliminated a human trafficker in Brussels, made it look like a rival gang hit. I'd thrown up for an hour afterward. You're a protector. Sometimes protecting innocent people means removing threats. That's not murder. That's justice. I held on to those words like a lifeline. For 4 years, Castle was my anchor. My only real connection to anything resembling normal. Between missions, we'd meet at this little coffee shop in Virginia. He'd ask about my life, my health, whether I was eating enough. He'd show me pictures of his grandkids. Tell me stories about his daughter, who was a veterinarian in Colorado. He made me feel human when everything else in my life was designed to make me a ghost. So when Mission 20 went wrong, when I made the choice to save those 6 civilians instead of following my kill order, Castle was the first person I called. I need extraction, I'd said. I was in a safe house in Istanbul, injured, being hunted by 3 different intelligence agencies. Castle, I need help. They're going to kill me. What did you do, Elena? I saved them. The civilians. They weren't combatants. They were teachers. A doctor. 2 kids. The intelligence was wrong. The whole mission was based on bad information, and I couldn't just let them die. Silence on the other end. Castle? Did you hear me? I need extraction.
Now. Emma.
His voice was different. Colder. You broke protocol. You compromised the mission. You made yourself a liability. A liability? Castle, they were innocent people. Children. There are always casualties. You knew that when you signed on. You don't get to decide which orders to follow based on your feelings. This wasn't about feelings. This was about being human. About not becoming the thing we're supposed to be fighting. You're emotional. Compromised. You need to come in. Turn yourself in to the embassy. We'll sort this out. Something in his tone made every one of my instincts scream warning. If I come in, what happens to me? He didn't answer right away. That pause told me everything. You're burning me, I whispered. You're actually burning me. It's not personal, Elena. It's operational necessity. You became a problem. Problems get solved. I trusted you. Then you were naive. This was always a job. You were always an asset. Assets get deployed, and when they're no longer useful, they get retired. That's how this works. He hung up. I sat there in that safe house, bleeding from a bullet graze in my side, listening to the dial tone, and felt something inside me die. Not dramatically, not painfully, just quietly shutting down like a light going out. The man I'd trusted like a father had just signed my death warrant. I made it out of Istanbul through a contact I'd cultivated during a previous mission. A forger who owed me a favor. He got me a new passport, new identity, and passage on a cargo ship to the States. I spent 3 weeks in the hull of that ship, sick from infection, delirious with fever, wondering if I'd survive long enough to make it home. I did survive.
Barely.
But the woman who stepped off that cargo ship in Baltimore wasn't Elena Carter anymore. She was nobody, nothing. A ghost, without even the agency to give her purpose. The 6 months on the street broke whatever was left of me. I learned that all those skills, all that training, meant absolutely nothing in the real world. Couldn't eat tradecraft. Couldn't sleep in tactical formations. Couldn't pay rent with the ability to kill someone 17 different ways. By the time Dorothy found me, I'd given up. Not on living exactly. Just on matching. On being anything more than a body taking up space. She changed that. Not with grand gestures or dramatic interventions. Just with small, consistent kindness. A warm meal. A safe place to sleep. A job that made me feel useful even if it wasn't the kind of useful I used to be. For 2 years, I convinced myself I was okay with that. Convinced myself that being Ellie the waitress was enough. That I didn't miss the adrenaline. Didn't miss the purpose. Didn't miss being someone who could change the world even if the world never knew her name. Then Lorenzo Moretti spit on me, and I remembered exactly who I used to be. I must have fallen asleep eventually, because I woke to pounding on my motel room door. My hand was under the pillow, gripping the small knife I'd taken from the diner's kitchen, before I was fully conscious. Old habits. Housekeeping, a female voice called. I checked my watch. 7 in the morning. I'd been asleep for maybe 4 hours. Come back later, I called out. The pounding continued. Housekeeping. I need to clean room. Something was wrong. The accent was off. Too forced. And housekeeping didn't usually start this early or insist this hard. I rolled off the bed, moved to the wall beside the door. I said come back later. Open door now or I call manager. Definitely not housekeeping. I looked through the peephole. A woman stood there in a cleaning uniform, cart beside her. But her stance was wrong. Weight too far forward. Hands out of sight. And was that a bulge under her uniform shirt? I backed away from the door. Scanned the room. 1 window. Fire escape outside. 1 bathroom. No other exits. The door exploded inward. Not from a key. From a boot. Professional breach. The woman came through first, gun up. 2 men right behind her. All armed. All moving with the kind of coordination that spoke of training. I was already moving. Grabbed the lamp off the nightstand, swung it at the woman's head. Connected. She went down. The first man swung his gun toward me. I was inside his reach before he could fire. Drove my knee into his groin. He doubled over. I took his gun, used it to pistol whip the second man across the temple. 3 seconds. 3 attackers down. But I heard footsteps in the hallway. More coming. I ran for the window. Threw it open. Squeezed through onto the fire escape just as 2 more men burst into the room. They saw me. Shouted. Started shooting. Bullets sparked off the metal railing. I jumped down to the next level. Then the next. Hit the ground running. The alley behind the motel was full of dumpsters and debris. I vaulted over a chain-link fence, landed in the parking lot of a closed warehouse, and kept running. Behind me, I heard vehicles starting, engines roaring. They weren't giving up. I cut through 3 more alleys, doubled back twice, used every counter-surveillance technique I knew. Finally ducked into a subway entrance, caught a train just as the doors were closing, and let the underground system swallow me. I got off 4 stops later, emerged in a completely different part of the city, checked my surroundings.
No tal.
But my heart was hammering, not from exertion, from realization. Lorenzo had found me in less than 8 hours, had sent a professional team, not street thugs. They'd breached my room with military precision. These weren't mob enforcers. These were contractors, specialists. He wasn't just coming after me. He was hunting me with the kind of resources usually reserved for high-value targets. I needed help. Real help. The kind I couldn't get from Dorothy or Carl or anyone from my current life. Which meant I needed to reach out to someone from my old life. And there was only one person who might still be willing to help me. Marcus Chen had been my partner on 6 missions. Where I was speed and precision, Marcus was strength and strategy. We'd saved each other's lives more times than I could count. When the agency burned me, Marcus was already out. He'd quit 2 years before, said he was done being a ghost, done living in the shadows. Last I'd heard, he'd opened a security consulting firm in the city. I found a payphone. Yes, they still exist if you know where to look. Dropped in coins. Dialed a number I'd memorized years ago. It rang 4 times. Then a familiar voice, cautious. Yes, Marcus. It's Elena. Long pause. Elena Carter is dead. The agency made that very clear.
I'm aware.
I was there when they killed me. But the body got up and walked away. Why are you calling me? Because I need help and you're the only person I trust who might actually give it. Another pause. Then, where are you? Downtown. Near the financial district. There's a parking garage on 5th and Maple. Level 3. Be there in an hour. Come alone, and make sure you're not followed. He hung up. I spent the next hour making absolutely certain I was clean. Changed clothes in a department store bathroom. Bought a cheap hat and sunglasses. Took 3 different buses in a circuitous route. Watched every reflection, every face, every vehicle. By the time I reached the parking garage, I was confident I was alone. Marcus was waiting by a black sedan. He looked older, more tired, but the same sharp intelligence in his eyes. The same careful way of standing that suggested he could move very fast if he needed to.
Enough.
He didn't smile, didn't move to hug me, just studied me like I was a problem he was trying to solve. You look like hell. Feel worse. Thanks for meeting me. Tell me what's happening.
And don't lie.
I'll know. So, I told him. About the diner. About Dorothy. About Lorenzo Moretti and the broken jaw and the team that hit my motel this morning. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Lorenzo Moretti, he finally said. You couldn't have punched someone less dangerous? Maybe a regular criminal? Someone without an army. He spit on me, Marcus. And you broke his jaw. In front of his men. You humiliated the most powerful crime boss in 3 states. Elena, do you understand what you've done? This isn't just about revenge. This is about respect.
Fear.
If he lets you walk away after that, every enemy he has will see it as weakness. He has to make an example of you. I know. So why call me? Why not just run? Get as far from this city as possible and never look back. Because I tried running. Tried hiding. Spent 2 years being invisible.
And you know what?
I'm tired of it. Tired of pretending I'm not who I am. Tired of letting people like Lorenzo Moretti treat other people like they're nothing. Marcus shook his head. That's the Elena I remember. The one who couldn't let injustice stand. The one who got herself burned because she had a conscience. You think I was wrong? To save those people? I think you made a choice. And choices have consequences. You knew that going in. And you made a choice too. To get out. To leave. Was that the right choice? He looked away. I don't know. Some days I think I'm a coward. Other days I think I'm the only one who is smart enough to survive. He turned back to me. What do you need? Information. Resources. A place to stay that Moretti can't find. That's asking a lot. I know. But Marcus, if he gets me, he won't stop there.
He'll go after Dorothy.
After Carl. After anyone who was in that diner. Innocent people who don't deserve to be caught in this. You should have thought about that before you broke his jaw. Maybe. But I didn't. And now I need to fix it. Marcus studied me for another long moment. Then he sighed. I have a safe house. Apartment building I own on the west side. Top floor, corner unit. It's clean. Secure. I use it for clients who need to disappear for a while. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Elena, listen to me. Lorenzo Moretti isn't some terrorist cell or cartel leader. He's embedded in this city. He owns cops, judges, politicians. Half the security firms in town work for him either directly or indirectly. You can't fight him the way you fought during missions. There's no extraction team coming. No agency backup. It's just you. I know.
Do you?
Because the Elena I knew, she had support. Resources. She was part of something bigger. You're alone now. That changes everything. He was right, but he was also wrong about one thing. I wasn't completely alone. I had Dorothy.
Carl.
And now Marcus. It wasn't much, but it was more than I'd had in a long time. The safe house, I said. Can I go there now? He pulled out a key. Address is written on the tag. Don't tell anyone where you are. Don't contact anyone from your life before. And Elena? Be careful. Moretti doesn't forgive. And he doesn't forget. I took the key. Started to walk away. I turned back. Why'd you really do it? Marcus asked. Why hit him? You could have walked away. Could have kept your head down like you've been doing. What changed? I thought about that question. About the moment when I felt Lorenzo's spit hit my neck.
About the sound of his men laughing.
About the look on Dorothy's face when she'd told me there was dignity in defending yourself. I remembered something, I said. Something I'd forgotten. What? That being invisible isn't the same as being free. I left him there in the parking garage and made my way to the safe house. It was everything Marcus promised.
Clean.
Secure. Empty. I locked the door behind me, checked all the windows, verified the exits. Old habits. Then I sat down on the couch and let myself feel it. The fear, the exhaustion, the weight of what I'd done and what was coming. Lorenzo Moretti was hunting me, and he wouldn't stop until I was dead or broken. But here's what he didn't know. Here's what none of them knew. I'd already been broken once. The agency had tried to erase me.
Castle had betrayed me.
I'd lived on streets and in doorways, and I'd survived. Whatever Lorenzo threw at me, it couldn't be worse than what I'd already endured. And unlike last time, I wasn't going to run. I was going to fight back. The safe house became my war room. For 3 days, I didn't leave. Didn't contact anyone. Just sat at the small kitchen table with a notebook and started planning. Old operational habits kicking in. If you want to survive, you need intelligence. You need to know your enemy better than they know themselves. Lorenzo Moretti, age 35. Born in the city, raised in the organization. His father, Vincent Moretti, had run the operation before him. Died of a heart attack 6 years ago, though rumors suggested it wasn't natural causes. Lorenzo took over and immediately proved he was twice as ruthless as his father. Expanded the territory. Diversified the income streams. Made the kind of moves that got people killed for even suggesting them. He was smart, calculated, and according to everything I could find, he'd never lost. Not once. Every rival who'd challenged him ended up dead or disappeared. Every business deal went his way. Every cop who investigated him either got transferred or bought off. The man was untouchable, except I'd touched him. I'd broken his jaw in front of his own men. And that kind of humiliation demanded a response. I was sitting at the table on the 4th morning, reading through old newspaper articles about Moretti's various business ventures, when someone knocked on the door. My hand went to the gun Marcus had left for me. I moved silently to the door. Checked the peephole. Marcus. Alone. I opened the door. You look terrible, he said by way of greeting. Haven't been sleeping much. He came in carrying a cardboard box. Set it on the table. Inside were files. Documents. Photographs. What's this?
I asked.
Everything I could find on Moretti. Financial records. Property holdings. Known associates. I called in some favors. Cost me, but I figured you'd need it. I started going through the files. Bank statements showing millions in suspicious transfers. Property deeds in shell company names. Photographs of Lorenzo meeting with politicians, judges, business leaders.
This is good, I said.
Really good. How did you get all this? Let's just say I still have contacts who owe me favors. And they're nervous. Moretti's been making noise. Asking questions. Looking for a woman who assaulted him. There's a price on your head, Elena. $200,000 for information leading to your location. $500,000 if someone brings you in alive. My stomach dropped.
Alive.
He wants to make an example of you.
Personally.
Which means you have some time. He's not going to let some random bounty hunter take that satisfaction from him. That's not comforting, Marcus. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be realistic. He sat down across from me. Elena, I need to ask you something. And I need an honest answer. Okay. What's your endgame here? Because right now, all you're doing is surviving. You're playing defense. But you can't play defense forever. Eventually he'll find you. So what's the plan? What are you actually trying to accomplish? I'd been asking myself the same question. At first, it was just about survival. About getting away. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized survival wasn't enough. I want to take him down, I said. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. Take him down? Elena, he runs this city. He has more money than most corporations. More power than the mayor. You think you can just take him down? I've taken down worse. With agency support. With backup. With extraction plans and diplomatic immunity. You have none of that now. You're one person with a fake ID and $2,000. Then I'll find support. Build my own team. Do whatever it takes. And Dorothy? Carl? The people from your life as Ellie? They're just collateral damage in your vendetta? That stopped me. Because he was right. The longer I stayed in the city, the more danger I put them in. I can protect them, I said.
How?
You're in hiding. You can't even go back to that diner without putting a target on everyone inside. Elena, the smart play here is to run. Get out of the city. Start over somewhere else. Let Moretti chase a ghost. And he just gets away with it? Gets to keep treating people like they're nothing? Gets to spit on waitresses and destroy lives and face zero consequences.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens. Because that's how the world works. The powerful do what they want, and the rest of us survive however we can. I stood up. Started pacing. You really believe that? You really think there's no such thing as justice? I think justice is a luxury. And right now, you can't afford luxuries. You need to focus on staying alive. What's the point of staying alive if I have to compromise everything I believe in to do it? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he said softly, "That's the same question you asked Castle, right before he burned you." The words hit like a physical blow. "I'm not trying to be cruel," Marcus continued. "I'm trying to keep you alive. Because I've already lost too many people I cared about. And Elena, despite everything, despite the years and the betrayals and the ghosts we've both become, I still care about you. So I'm asking you to be smart. Just this once. Choose survival over righteousness." I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him he was wrong. But part of me wondered if he was right. If I was repeating the same mistakes that got me burned in the first place. Before I could respond, Marcus's phone buzzed. He looked at it. His expression changed. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" He turned the phone toward me. A news article. The headline made my blood run cold. Diner owner questioned in assault on businessman Lorenzo Moretti. I grabbed the phone. "Read the article." Dorothy, had been brought in for questioning. The police were calling it a random act of violence, asking if she knew anything about the woman who attacked Mr. Moretti in her establishment. They're pressuring her, I said, trying to get her to give me up. Of course they are. Moretti owns half the police department. They'll squeeze her until she breaks. Dorothy won't break. She's stronger than that. Everyone breaks eventually, Elena. It's just a matter of pressure and time. I was already moving, grabbing my jacket, checking the gun. What are you doing? Marcus asked. I'm going to fix this. Fix it how? You can't just walk into a police station. Watch me. He grabbed my arm. Elena, stop.
Think.
If you go there, if you show your face, Moretti will know. He'll have people watching. You'll be playing right into his hands. Then what do you suggest? I just let Dorothy take the fall for defending me. I suggest you trust that Dorothy is smart enough to handle a police interview. She doesn't know where you are. She can't tell them what she doesn't know. He was right. Logically, he was right. But logic didn't change the fact that Dorothy was suffering because of me. Because I'd lost control. Because I'd let my training override my common sense. I need to see her, I said. At least make sure she's okay. Bad idea. I don't care. She's family, Marcus. The only family I have left. I'm not abandoning her. Something shifted in his expression. Resignation, maybe. You're going to do this no matter what I say, aren't you? Yes.
He sighed.
Then at least let me help. I have a contact at the station. Someone who owes me. I can find out what's happening with Dorothy. Whether they're holding her, or if she's free to go. But, Elena, you need to promise me something.
What?
You stay here. You stay hidden. You let me handle this. Because if you go rushing in there trying to be a hero, you'll just get yourself killed and Dorothy won't be any safer for it. I wanted to argue. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to move, to act, to do something. But Marcus was right. Going to the station would be suicide.
Fine, I said.
But if anything happens to her, if they hurt her in any way, I know. You'll burn the whole city down. I got it. Just stay put.
He left.
I went back to pacing. Back to feeling helpless. It was the worst feeling in the world. Worse than being hunted. Worse than being betrayed. Just sitting there while someone I cared about was in danger. 2 hours later, Marcus called. She's out, he said. They questioned her for 90 minutes. She didn't tell them anything. Said she didn't know who attacked Moretti. Said it happened so fast she didn't get a good look. They had to let her go because they don't have any evidence to hold her. Relief flooded through me. Is she okay?
Physically, yes.
But, Elena, there's something else. Moretti was at the station. He personally attended the interview. Sat in the observation room and watched the whole thing. My blood went cold.
Why?
I don't know. But my contact said Moretti seemed more interested than angry. Like he was studying her. Trying to figure something out. That didn't make sense. Why would Lorenzo care about Dorothy? Unless he's trying to understand me, I said slowly. He's trying to figure out who would defend a waitress. Who would teach that kind of loyalty. That's what I thought too. Which means he's not just hunting you anymore. He's investigating you. And that's worse. Why worse? Because hunters just want to catch prey. Investigators want to understand. And if Moretti understands you, if he figures out what makes you tick, he'll know exactly how to destroy you.
I thought about that.
About Lorenzo sitting in that observation room, watching Dorothy refuse to betray me. What had he seen? What had he learned? I need to talk to Dorothy, I said. Absolutely not. That's exactly what he's expecting. He probably has people watching her right now. Then I'll be careful. Marcus, I'm doing this. With or without your help. So you can either help me do it safely, or you can get out of my way. Another long sigh. You're going to get me killed. You know that, right? Probably.
Fine.
There's a church 3 blocks from the diner. St. Mary's. Go there tomorrow at noon. I'll make sure Dorothy knows to meet you. But Elena, you get 15 minutes. That's it. Then you leave, and you don't contact her again. Agreed. Agreed. The next day, I left the safe house for the first time in days. Wore a wig I'd bought from a costume shop. Sunglasses. Different clothes. Moved through the city like a ghost. Like I'd been trained to do. The church was old. Beautiful. Stone walls and stained glass and the kind of quiet that makes you want to whisper. I slipped into a pew near the back. Waited. Dorothy arrived 10 minutes later. She looked older than I remembered. More tired. She sat down beside me without looking directly at me. Ellie, she whispered. Or is it Elena? You heard. The police mentioned it. Said they were looking for an Elena Carter. Former military or intelligence or something. They showed me pictures, but they were all years old. Didn't look much like you.
I'm sorry, Dorothy.
For lying. For putting you in danger. For all of it. She finally turned to look at me. Are you really some kind of super soldier? Is that true? Something like that. And you've been hiding. Running from something. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to be normal. Wanted to believe I could just be Ellie, the waitress who served coffee and smiled at customers. I didn't want to be Elena anymore. The woman who hurt people for a living. Dorothy reached over and took my hand. Sweetie, you saved people. That's what the police said. That you were some kind of rescue specialist. That you pulled innocent people out of war zones. I also killed people, Dorothy. A lot of people. Some of them probably didn't deserve it. Some of them were just following orders like I was. I'm not a hero. I'm just someone who's good at violence. You defended yourself when that man degraded you. That takes courage, not violence. I broke his jaw. He spit on you. In my book, he got off light. She squeezed my hand. Elena, I don't care who you used to be. I care about who you are now. And the person I know is good.
Kind.
Hardworking. That's the person who matters. I felt tears stinging my eyes. I'm putting you in danger just by being here. I know. Your friend Marcus explained everything. Told me about Moretti. About the bounty. About the people hunting you.
She paused.
He also told me you're planning something stupid. It's not stupid. You're going after Moretti. That's the definition of stupid. I can't just run, Dorothy. He'll keep coming after you. After Carl. After anyone who helped me. The only way to protect you is to end this. By ending him? I didn't answer.
Didn't need to.
Dorothy was quiet for a moment. Then she said, when I was young, my husband used to beat me. Every night he'd come home drunk and angry, and he'd take it out on me. I took it for 5 years. Told myself I deserved it. That I'd provoked him. That if I just tried harder, he'd stop. I'd never known this about her. She'd never mentioned a husband. What changed? I asked. One night, he went after my daughter. She was 7 years old, and she'd accidentally broken a plate. He raised his hand to her, and something in me just snapped. I hit him with a cast-iron skillet. Knocked him out cold. Then I packed our bags and left. Never looked back. Good for you. My point is, I understand what you're feeling. That moment when you realize you're done being a victim. Done letting someone else define your worth. That's not stupid, Elena. That's survival. That's choosing yourself for the first time. But you didn't go after your husband. You just left. Because leaving was enough. He didn't have the power to follow me. Didn't have the resources. But Moretti does. So you're right. Running won't work. He'll hunt you forever. Which means you have to make him stop. That's what I'm trying to do. Then do it smart. Don't just charge and angry. Use that training. That intelligence. Be the ghost you used to be. A noise at the front of the church made us both tense. A priest entering. Genuflecting at the altar. I need to go, I whispered. Elena, wait. Dorothy pulled an envelope from her purse. This came to the diner yesterday. It's addressed to you. I took the envelope. Heavy paper. Expensive. My name written in elegant script on the front. Who delivered it? I asked. A man in a suit. He said Mr. Moretti wanted you to have it. My heart was pounding. I opened the envelope. Inside was a single card with an address and a time. Tomorrow night. 9 o'clock. And underneath, in that same elegant script. Come alone. We need to talk. It's a trap, Dorothy said. Obviously. You're not actually going to go. I looked at the card. At the address. It was a restaurant. One of Moretti's properties according to the files Marcus had given me. High-end. Exclusive. I have to, I said.
Why?
So he can kill you. If he wanted me dead, he'd just send more contractors. He wouldn't invite me to dinner. He wants something. What could he possibly want from you? That was the question. What did Lorenzo Moretti, the man who had everything, want from the woman who'd humiliated him? I kissed Dorothy on the cheek. Stay safe. And thank you. For everything. Elena, please don't do this. But I was already moving. Already planning. Lorenzo Moretti wanted to talk.
Fine.
We'd talk. But I was going to make damn sure I had the upper hand. I spent the next 24 hours preparing for the meeting like I was preparing for a mission. Which, in a way, I was. Marcus thought I was insane when I told him. You're actually going to walk into a restaurant owned by the man who wants you dead, he said. That's not brave, Elena. That's suicidal.
He wants to talk.
If he wanted me dead, I'd already be dead. Or maybe he wants the satisfaction of killing you himself. In his own territory. On his own terms. Maybe. But I need to know what he wants. Why he's not just sending the contractors. Why invite me to dinner? Marcus shook his head. At least let me set up surveillance. Give me the location. I'll have eyes on the building. And if his people spot you, then he knows I'm not alone, and the whole thing falls apart. So, what's your plan? Walk in unarmed and hope for the best. I'm not going in unarmed. And I'm not hoping for anything. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Figure out his angle. Then decide my next move. Your next move should be running. But we both knew I wasn't going to run. The restaurant was called Silvano's. Italian. Upscale. The kind of place where reservations were made months in advance, and the wine list had bottles that cost more than cars. I'd looked it up. Moretti owned it through one of his shell companies. Used it for business meetings. Legitimate on the surface, but everyone knew what kind of business really got discussed there. I arrived at 8:45. Early enough to scout, but not so early it looked like I was nervous. Wore a simple black dress I'd bought that afternoon. Nothing fancy, but appropriate for the venue. Hair pulled back. Minimal makeup. I wanted to look put together, but not like I was trying too hard. The gun was strapped to my thigh under the dress. Small caliber. Easy to conceal. Not that I thought I'd need it. If Moretti wanted me dead, a small pistol wouldn't save me. But it made me feel better having it there. The host at the front desk was expecting me. Miss Carter, he said smoothly. Mr. Moretti is waiting for you. Please follow me. He led me through the main dining room. It was busy. Well-dressed couples eating expensive food. Soft jazz playing in the background. Everything looked normal. Civilized. Like this was just another restaurant and not the headquarters of a criminal empire. We went up a flight of stairs to a private dining room. The host opened the door. Enjoy your evening. Lorenzo Moretti sat at a table set for two. Candles. Wine already poured. He stood when I entered. His jaw was wired shut. Metal brackets visible when he tried to smile. He couldn't speak properly, the words coming out slightly slurred, but I could understand him. Elena Carter, he said. Thank you for coming. I stayed near the door. I'm here. Now tell me what you want.
Direct.
I like that. Please sit. We have much to discuss. I'll stand. Suit yourself. But the door is locked from the outside. My men are stationed throughout the building. If you try to leave before we're done talking, they have orders to stop you. So you might as well be comfortable. He was right. I was trapped. But I'd known that before I came. I sat down across from him. Kept my hands visible. Kept my body language neutral. Wine, he offered. I don't drink with people who put bounties on my head. He laughed. It sounded painful with the wired jaw. Fair enough. More for me then. He took a sip. Winced slightly. Drinking isn't easy with this injury. Neither is eating. Or speaking. Do you know how humiliating it is to have your own doctor wire your jaw shut? About as humiliating as being spit on, I'd imagine. His eyes flashed. Anger there. but controlled. You have spirit. I respect that. Most people cower when they meet me.
But not you.
You look at me like you're not impressed. Should I be impressed? By money? Power? The ability to hurt people weaker than you? You hurt me. Does that make you impressive? I defended myself. There's a difference. Is there? He leaned forward. Tell me something, Elena. Where did a waitress learn to throw a punch like that? That wasn't luck. That wasn't adrenaline. That was training. Serious training. I took self-defense classes. Don't insult my intelligence. I've had self-defense classes. What you did was professional. Military grade. The way you moved, the way you assessed the threat, the precision of the strike. You're not just some waitress who got lucky. You're something else entirely.
I didn't respond.
Let the silence stretch. I had you investigated, Lorenzo continued. Did you know that? After you broke my jaw, after my men carried me out of that pathetic diner, I had my people dig into your background.
Elena Carter.
Former intelligence operative. Specialized in high-risk extractions. 19 successful missions. Then you disappeared. Burned by your own agency. Erased. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face neutral. Sounds like fiction. Does it? Then explain how a waitress moves like a ghost. Explain how you took down 4 of my contractors in under 10 seconds. Explain how you've evaded capture for a week when I have half the city looking for you. Maybe I'm just good at hiding. Or maybe you're exactly what my research says you are. A weapon. A highly trained, extremely dangerous weapon who's been pretending to be harmless. He sat back, studied me with those dark, calculating eyes. Here's what I find interesting, he said. You could have killed me. In that diner. You had the opportunity, the skill. But you didn't. You broke my jaw and walked away. Why? I'm not a killer. That's a lie. According to your file, you've killed at least 17 people. Confirmed kills. Probably more that aren't documented. So, let's try again. Why didn't you kill me? I thought about that question. About the moment my fist connected with his jaw. I could have gone for his throat. Could have crushed his windpipe. Could have ended him right there. But I hadn't. Some part of me, some last shred of restraint, had pulled the punch just enough to break bone instead of killing him. Because I'm trying to be better than I was. I said finally. Trying to be the kind of person who doesn't solve problems with violence. How's that working out for you? Not great, obviously. He smiled again. Painful. I appreciate your honesty. So, let me be honest in return. When you hit me, when you made me look weak in front of my own men, you created a problem for me. A big problem. In my world, respect is everything. Fear is everything. If I let that disrespect stand, if I let you walk away unpunished, every rival I have will see it as weakness. They'll think I'm soft. That I can be challenged. So you brought me here to kill me. Got it. Can we skip to that part?
No.
I brought you here to make you an offer. That caught me off guard. An offer? I need someone with your skills. Someone who can do things my regular people can't. Someone who moves like you move. Thinks like you think. Someone who isn't afraid of me. I laughed. Actually laughed. You want to hire me? After everything? Yes. That's insane. Is it? Think about it rationally. You're being hunted. You're living in hiding. You have no resources, no support, no identity. How long do you think you can survive like that? A month? 2? Eventually I'll find you. Or someone else will. And when that happens, you'll die. Unless I work for you. Exactly. Work for me, and the bounty disappears. The hunt ends. You get protection. Money. A purpose. Everything you've been missing since your agency burned you. And in return? You do what you're good at. Extract people. Gather intelligence. Handle problems my regular people can't. Simple. Simple. I repeated. Except I'd be working for a criminal. Doing illegal things. Becoming exactly what I was trying not to be. You'd be surviving. Isn't that what matters? I stood up.
No.
What matters is being able to look at yourself in the mirror. What matters is not compromising everything you believe in just because it's convenient. I'm not working for you, Moretti. I'd rather die. Sit down.
No. Sit. Down.
The words came out hard. Dangerous. We're not done talking. Yes, we are. I moved toward the door. It was locked like he'd said. I could break it down. Could fight my way through his guards. But that would mean casualties. Violence. The very thing I was trying to avoid.
Anna. His voice was softer now.
Almost gentle.
Please.
Just hear me out. Something in his tone made me pause. Not fear. Not anger. Something else. Something almost like desperation. I turned back. He was standing now. One hand pressed against his wired jaw like it hurt. I'm not the monster you think I am, he said quietly. I know what people say about me. That I'm ruthless.
Cold.
Evil. And maybe they're right. Maybe I've done terrible things. But I had reasons. I always had reasons. Everyone has reasons. That doesn't make the terrible things okay. I know. But Elena, you of all people should understand. You did terrible things for your country. You killed people because your government told you to. How is that different from what I do? The difference is I was trying to save innocent lives. You're trying to make money. Am I? Do you know what I've built in this city? Real things. Good things. I've funded schools, hospitals, community centers in neighborhoods everyone else abandoned. I've given jobs to people no one else would hire. I've protected families from gangs and violence. Yes, I've done bad things. But I've also done good. More good than you know. I wanted to dismiss it. Wanted to believe he was lying. But something in his voice made me hesitate. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I see something in you. Something I recognize. You're like me, Elena. You were built to be a weapon. Trained to do violence. But somewhere along the way, you started questioning whether that's all you are. Whether you could be something more. Something better. I'm nothing like you. Aren't you? We're both people the world tried to use up and throw away. We're both survivors. We're both willing to do whatever it takes to protect the people we care about. The only difference is I stopped pretending I was anything other than what I am. He moved closer. Not threatening. Just close enough that I could see his eyes clearly. They weren't cold anymore. They were tired. Almost sad.
Work with me, he said.
Not for me. With me. Help me build something. We could do real good together. Protect people who need protecting. Stop people who deserve stopping. Make this city better instead of just surviving in it. By breaking the law? By hurting people? Sometimes the law doesn't protect the people who need it most. Sometimes you have to go outside the law to get real justice. You know that. It's why your agency burned you. Because you chose justice over orders. He was right. I hated that he was right. But he was. I need time to think, I said. Take all the time you need. But, Elena, understand something. This offer expires. If you walk out that door and don't come back, the hunt resumes. The bounty stands. And next time we meet, it won't be over dinner. Understood. He moved to the door. Unlocked it himself. My driver will take you wherever you want to go. Think about what I said. Really think about it. Because I meant every word. I left without looking back. His driver was waiting. Took me back to the safe house without asking questions. The whole ride, I kept replaying the conversation. Lorenzo Moretti wasn't what I'd expected. He wasn't some mindless thug or cold-blooded monster. He was intelligent, charismatic, and worst of all, he'd made points I couldn't completely dismiss. Was I really that different from him? We'd both done violence for what we believed were good reasons. We'd both been betrayed by systems we'd trusted. We'd both survived by becoming something harder than we started. The difference was I was still trying to be good. Still fighting against the darkness. But how long could I keep that up? How long before I ran out of options and the darkness won? I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in the safe house, staring at the ceiling, and wondered what the hell I was supposed to do. Marcus showed up the next morning with coffee and the kind of expression that meant bad news. Let me guess, I said. Moretti made his move.
Worse.
Dorothy's diner burned down last night. I was on my feet before he finished the sentence. Is she okay? Was anyone hurt? Everyone's fine. It happened at 3 in the morning. Building was empty. Fire department says it was electrical, but we both know that's garbage. This was a message. From Moretti. Who else? Elena, what happened at that dinner? What did he say to you? I told him everything. The offer. The threats. The strange almost honesty in Lorenzo's voice. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he set down his coffee very carefully. He's playing you. I know that.
Do you?
Because it sounds like you're actually considering his offer. I'm not considering anything. But Marcus, what he said, some of it made sense. About the law not protecting people. About having to go outside the rules to get real justice. Isn't that what we did? When we were operational? We worked for our government. That's different. Is it? The government that burned me? That left me to die? That covered up their mistakes and threw me away like garbage? How is that morally superior to what Moretti does? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. It's not. You're right. But Elena, working for Moretti, that's not justice. That's just trading one corrupt system for another. At least with the agency, we were trying to do good even if the system was broken. Moretti's not trying to do good. He's trying to build power. He said he's funded schools, hospitals, community programs. With dirty money. With profits from drugs and gambling and trafficking. That doesn't make him a hero. That makes him a criminal with good PR. I knew he was right. But part of me, the part that was tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of being powerless, that part wanted to believe Lorenzo's offer was genuine. The diner burning down, I said. That's him telling me my time is up. Accept his offer, or he keeps destroying things I care about. Looks like it. Where's Dorothy now? She's staying with her daughter across town. She's safe. But Elena, she lost everything. 30 years of work.
Gone.
And it's because of you. Because you punched Moretti instead of walking away. The words hit like a physical blow. I know. So, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. Well, figure it out. Because this isn't just about you anymore. Other people are getting hurt. And if you don't stop this, more people will die. He left. I sat there in the safe house, drowning in guilt, and tried to think of a way out that didn't involve more violence. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello. Ms. Carter. This is Detective Sarah Chin. I need to speak with you about the fire at Dorothy's diner. A cop. Probably on Moretti's payroll. I don't know anything about that. I think you do. I also think you know who's responsible. Ms. Carter, I'm not one of Moretti's people. I'm actually trying to help. But I need your cooperation. Why should I trust you? Because I've been investigating Moretti for 3 years. Because I know he's corrupt. Because I want to take him down as much as you do. And because right now you're the only person who's ever stood up to him and lived to talk about it. Something in her voice sounded genuine. But I'd been fooled before. If you want to talk, meet me in person, I said. Somewhere public. Somewhere he can't have people watching. There's a park. Riverside. Tomorrow at noon. I'll be alone. She hung up. It could be a trap. Probably it was a trap. But I was running out of options and out of time. I called Marcus back. I need you to check someone out. Detective Sarah Chen. Find out if she's legitimate or another one of Moretti's people. On it. But Elena, please tell me you're not meeting with her.
Fine.
I won't tell you. Damn it, Elena. Just check her out. If she's clean, I need to talk to her. If she's dirty, I need to know that too. Marcus called back 3 hours later. She's clean. Actually clean. Sarah Chen, 32, homicide detective, decorated record, multiple commendations. She's been vocal about police corruption. Has made enemies in the department because of it. If anyone's actually trying to take down Moretti from the inside, it's her. So, she's legitimate. Seems that way. But Elena, that doesn't mean meeting her is safe. If Moretti finds out you're talking to a cop, He'll see it as choosing sides. The offer will be off the table. The offer was never really on the table, Marcus. It was just a prettier version of compliance or death. Maybe. But right now, you still have options. Talk to Chen, and those options narrow considerably. Then they narrow. I can't keep running. Can't keep hiding while people I care about get hurt. If Chen can help me take Moretti down legally, that's better than the alternative. And what's the alternative? I didn't answer. We both knew. The next day, I went to Riverside Park. Sunny afternoon. Families playing. Joggers on the paths. Normal people living normal lives. I spotted Chen immediately. Asian woman, athletic build, dressed casual but alert. She saw me coming. Stood up from the bench where she'd been waiting. Ms. Carter. Detective. Thank you for meeting me. I know you're taking a risk. So are you. If Moretti finds out you're talking to me, you're dead.
I'm aware.
But some things are worth the risk. She gestured to the bench.
Please. Seat.
We sat. She pulled out a file. Photographs. Financial records. Crime scene photos. I've been building a case against Moretti for 3 years, she said. Money laundering. Racketeering. Murder. I have evidence. Testimony from witnesses. Everything I need to put him away for life. But every time I'm close to making an arrest, something happens. Witnesses disappear. Evidence gets lost. Judges get transferred. He's got people everywhere. In my department. In the DA's office. Probably in the courthouse. I can't touch him through normal channels. So why tell me this? Because you're not normal channels. You're outside the system. You've already proven you can hurt him. I'm hoping we can work together. To do what? To get evidence that even his corrupt contacts can't bury. To build a case so airtight that when I bring it to federal prosecutors, not local ones, they'll have to act. And to keep you alive long enough to testify. Testify. I laughed. Detective, I'm not testifying against Lorenzo Moretti. That's a death sentence. It's witness protection. New identity. New life. Everything you want. I tried new identities. They don't work when people with resources want to find you. Federal witness protection is different. It's secure.
Permanent.
Moretti would never find you. I wanted to believe her. Wanted to think there was a way out that didn't involve more violence. But I'd learned the hard way that systems failed. That promises got broken. That the people who claimed to protect you were often the ones who betrayed you worst. I need to think about it, I said. I understand. But Ms. Carter, Elena, you don't have much time. Moretti's closing in. He's got people looking for you everywhere. He's squeezing your friends. Burning down businesses. This only ends one way, unless you let me help. And how do I know you're not working for him? How do I know this whole thing isn't a setup? She pulled out her badge. Held it up. Because I became a cop to help people. To protect people. And everything Moretti represents goes against that. I've seen what he does. The lives he destroys. The families he tears apart. I can't stop him alone. But together, maybe we have a chance. I looked at her badge. At her face. Tried to read whether she was telling the truth or just really good at lying. Give me 3 days, I said. 3 days to think about it. To make sure you are who you say you are. Then I'll give you an answer. 3 days. That's fair. But Elena, please be careful. Moretti's obsessed with you. I don't think he wants you dead anymore. I think he wants you working for him. And that might be worse. She left me sitting on the bench with her card and her file and more questions than answers. I was halfway back to the safe house when I noticed the tail. Black sedan. 2 cars back. Following every turn I made. Professional but not quite invisible. They wanted me to know they were there. I led them through the city for an hour. Took random turns. Changed directions. They stayed with me the whole time. Finally stopped in front of an office building. Got out. Walked to the entrance. The sedan pulled up beside me. Window rolled down. Lorenzo Moretti sat in the back seat. Jaw still wired. But smiling despite the pain. Get in, he said. We need to talk. We talked already. That was before you met with Detective Chen. Yes, I know about that. I know about everything, Elena. Now get in the car before I have my people drag you in. I looked around. 3 more cars had pulled up. Men in suits getting out, blocking exits. I was surrounded. I got in the car. Lorenzo nodded to the driver. We pulled away from the curb. You're making this harder than it needs to be, he said. You burned down Dorothy's diner. I did. And I'll do worse if you keep refusing my offer. Elena, I've been patient. More patient than anyone else would be in my position. But patience has limits. You can't run forever. You can't hide forever. And you definitely can't trust the police to protect you. So stop fighting the inevitable and accept that working with me is your only real option. What if I testify against you? What if I give Chen everything she needs to put you away? He laughed. That painful, wired jaw laugh. You have nothing. You don't know my business. You don't know my operations. You're a waitress who punched me once. That's not testimony. That's just assault. And assault isn't enough to touch me. Then why do you care if I talk to her? Because I don't like betrayal. And because choosing the police over me, that's a statement. That's you declaring which side you're on. And once you do that, Elena, everything changes. Right now, you're still neutral. Still undecided. I can work with that. But betray me? Choose them over me? Then you become an enemy. And I destroy my enemies. The car stopped. We were back at the safe house. My supposedly secret safe house that he somehow knew about. How did you find this place? I asked. Marcus Chen. Your friend. The one helping you. He's been on my payroll for 6 months. Every piece of information he gave you came from me. Every safe house he suggested, I approved. Elena, you've never been hiding. You've been exactly where I wanted you to be the whole time. The world tilted. Marcus. My partner. My friend. Working for Moretti. You're lying. Am I? Ask yourself how I found you at that motel. How I knew about your meeting with Dorothy. How I knew about Chen. Someone's been feeding me information. Someone close to you. Someone you trust. He leaned forward. You have 24 hours. Accept my offer, or I start killing everyone you care about.
Dorothy. Carl.
Even Detective Chen. Everyone. And I'll make sure you watch. Make sure you know it's your fault for being stubborn. 24 hours, Elena. Choose wisely. He gestured to the door. Get out. I got out. The car drove away. I stood there on the sidewalk, shaking with rage and fear and betrayal, and tried to process what just happened. Marcus was working for Moretti. Everything, every bit of help, every safe house, every piece of information, it was all controlled. I'd never been free. Never been safe. I'd been a mouse in a maze, and Moretti had been watching the whole time. I went inside the safe house. Marcus was there, sitting at the kitchen table, waiting. How long? I asked. He didn't pretend not to understand. 6 months. Why? Because he gave me a choice. Work for him or watch my family die. He had pictures, Elena, of my sister, my nieces.
He knew where they lived, what schools the girls went to.
Everything. So yes, I took his money. Yes, I've been reporting to him. Because that's what you do when the alternative is watching children get hurt. You could have told me. And then what? You would have tried to fight him. Would have gotten yourself killed. I kept you alive, Elena. I gave you time. Kept him from just grabbing you off the street. Everything I did was to protect you. By betraying me? By selling me out? By buying you time. He stood up. You think I wanted this? You think I'm proud of myself? I've hated every second. Every lie. Every report. But I did it because you're my friend. Because I couldn't watch another person I care about die. I wanted to hit him. Wanted to scream. Wanted to break everything in the room. But part of me understood. Because I'd made the same kinds of choices. Had compromised my principles to survive. Had done terrible things for good reasons. What now? I asked. Now you make a choice. Accept Moretti's offer or don't. But Elena, whatever you decide, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep lying to you. Can't keep helping him hunt you. So you're on your own. For real this time. He left. just walked out of the safe house and out of my life. And I was alone, truly alone. No friends, no support, no one to trust. Just me against the most powerful criminal in the city. And 24 hours to decide whether to join him or die fighting him.
I didn't sleep that night.
Couldn't. Just paced the safe house like a caged animal and tried to figure out my next move. Every option led to disaster. Accept Moretti's offer and become everything I'd been trying not to be. Refuse and watch everyone I cared about die. Run and spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder. Fight and probably die in the attempt. There were no good choices. Only different kinds of failure. At dawn, my phone rang.
Dorothy.
Ellie?
Elena.
Whatever your name is. You need to come here.
Now. Her voice was shaking.
Terrified. What's wrong? Just come.
Please.
They're here. They're in my daughter's house, and they say if you don't come in the next hour, they're going to hurt her. Going to hurt my grandchildren. The line went dead. I was out the door in seconds. Grabbed the gun. Didn't care about being followed.
Didn't care about being smart.
Dorothy's family was in danger, and it was my fault. The drive took 40 minutes. Felt like hours. I pulled up to a nice suburban house. Normal neighborhood. Soccer moms and minivans. The kind of place where violence wasn't supposed to reach. 2 of Moretti's cars were parked outside. Men in suits standing guard. I walked right up to them. I'm here. Let them go. One of the guards made a call. Nodded. Boss wants to see you inside. The house was ransacked. Furniture overturned. Pictures smashed. Dorothy sat on the couch, holding her daughter. Both crying. 2 small children, maybe 6 and 8, huddled beside them. All of them terrified. Lorenzo Moretti stood by the window. Still couldn't speak properly, with the wire jaw. But his eyes were cold. Flat. All the almost humanity from our dinner conversation was gone. You're late, he said. I'm here. Let them go. This is between us. Everything's between us now, Elena.
Every choice you make.
Every person you care about. All of it's connected to whether you're with me or against me. I'm here. Isn't that enough? Is it? Are you here to accept my offer? To finally stop being stubborn and choose survival? I looked at Dorothy. At her daughter. At those 2 terrified children who'd done nothing wrong except have the misfortune of being connected to me. Yes, I said. I accept. I'll work for you. Just let them go. Please. Moretti smiled.
Gestured to his men.
They backed off. Moved toward the door. Dorothy stood up.
Elena, no.
Don't do this for us. It's already done. Sweetie, you can't. You can't work for him. You can't become what he wants you to be. I can if it keeps you safe. Moretti's men herded Dorothy and her family toward the door. Take them to a hotel. Somewhere nice.
Put it on my account.
Make sure they're comfortable. Dorothy was crying, trying to reach me, but the guards moved her outside. I heard her shouting my name as they drove away. Then it was just me and Moretti and his remaining guards. Smart choice, he said. I knew you'd see reason eventually. What do you want me to do? First, prove your loyalty. Prove you're really committed to working with me.
How?
He pulled out a folder, tossed it on the destroyed coffee table. There's a man.
James Husso.
He's been stealing from me, skimming off the top of my gambling operations. I want you to find him. Bring him to me. Alive. No police.
No witnesses.
Just you and him. I picked up the folder. Looked at the photograph. Middle-aged man. Soft features. Looked more like an accountant than a criminal. And if I refuse, then Dorothy and her family have an accident on the way to their hotel. Car crash. Terrible tragedy. These things happen. You'd kill children? To punish me? I'd kill anyone, Elena. That's the difference between us. You still think there are lines you won't cross. I learned a long time ago that lines are just illusions. When survival is at stake, everyone crosses every line eventually. He moved closer. Close enough that I could smell his cologne again. Could see the pain in his eyes from the wired jaw. Get me Russo, he said softly. Prove you're mine. Then we'll talk about everything else. About your future. About the work we'll do together. About how I can make you powerful again.
Make you matter again.
But first, you need to show me I can trust you. When? You have 48 hours. Russo's last known location is in the file. He knows people are looking for him, so he's probably hiding. Use your skills. Track him down. Bring him back. And Elena? Don't try to warn him. Don't try to help him escape. I'll know. I always know. And if you betray me, everyone you've ever cared about dies. Slowly, painfully, while you watch. He left. His guards followed. And I stood there in that destroyed house, holding a folder with a man's death warrant, and realized I'd finally hit bottom. I'd thought being burned by my agency was the worst thing that could happen. Thought losing my identity was rock bottom. But I was wrong. This was worse. This was being forced to become the very thing I'd been fighting against. Being forced to hurt people to save other people. Being forced to choose between impossible options where everyone lost. I looked at the file. At James Russo's picture. Tried to tell myself he was a criminal. That he'd stolen from Moretti. That he probably deserved whatever was coming. But I knew better. Knew Moretti would torture him.
Kill him.
Make an example of him. And I'd be the one who delivered him. I'd be complicit. I called Detective Chin.
Elena?
Are you okay? I've been trying to reach you. I need your help. What happened? Everything. Moretti has Dorothy's family. He's forcing me to work for him. I have 48 hours to bring him someone or people die. Okay, listen to me. We can fix this. We can get Dorothy's family into protective custody. We can. He'll know. Chin, he has people everywhere. In your department. Probably watching us right now. If I don't deliver, if I try to run, he'll kill them. Then what do you want me to do? I want you to arrest me.
Right now.
Take me into custody for assault on Lorenzo Moretti. If I'm in jail, I can't work for him. Can't deliver Russo. Can't become his weapon. Silence on the other end. Then, Elena, if I arrest you, Moretti's people in the department will make sure you don't survive processing. You'll be dead before you see a cell. Better than becoming what he wants me to be. Is it? Is dying really better than surviving? Even if survival means compromise. I thought about that question. The same question I'd been asking myself for years. Since the agency burned me. Since I started living on the streets. Since I accepted Dorothy's help and pretended to be normal. I don't know anymore, I whispered. I used to think I knew. Used to think there were clear lines between right and wrong. But everything's gray now. Everything's complicated. And I'm so tired of trying to figure out the right answer when there isn't one. Elena, listen to me. You're not alone in this. I can help, but you have to trust me. The last person I trusted was feeding information to Moretti. How do I know you're different? You don't. You have to choose to believe me. Choose to have faith that not everyone is corrupt. That some people still care about justice. I wanted to believe her. Wanted to think there was still good in the world. Still people fighting for the right reasons. What do you suggest? I asked. Find Russo. But don't bring him to Moretti. Bring him to me. I'll put him in actual protective custody. Federal custody. Somewhere Moretti can't reach. Then we use him. Get him to testify. Build the case we need. And Dorothy's family? I'll get them to safety. Quietly. Without Moretti knowing. It's risky, but it's better than the alternative. It was risky. Probably suicidal. But what choice did I have? Okay, I said. I'll find Russo. But Chun, if anything happens to Dorothy or her family, if one hair on their heads gets hurt, I'm coming for you. And I won't stop until you pay. Understood.
Now go.
Find Russo. And Elena? Be careful. Moretti's not going to let you go easily. He's invested too much in controlling you. I hung up. Opened the file. Started reading.
James Russo.
Age 47. Accountant for Moretti's gambling operations. Married. 2 kids in college. By all accounts, a decent man who'd made the mistake of working for the wrong people. Now, he was stealing to get out. To run. To save his family from the life he'd gotten them tangled in. I understood that impulse. Understood wanting to protect the people you love even if it meant crossing lines. The file had his last known address. A cheap motel on the north side. Probably long gone by now. But it was a start. I spent the next 30 hours tracking him. Used every skill I had. Every technique. Checked credit cards. Talked to desk clerks. Followed digital trails. Finally found him holed up in a cabin 2 hours outside the city. Remote. Off the grid. The kind of place you go when you're truly desperate. I approached at night. Didn't want to spook him. Didn't want him running or fighting. The cabin had lights on. I could see movement inside.
Russo passing.
Nervous. Waiting for something. Or someone. I knocked. Silence. Then footsteps. Then his voice shaking. Who's there?
James Russo.
My name is Elena Carter. I need to talk to you. It's about Lorenzo Moretti. The door opened a crack. Gun barrel pointed at me through the gap. Did he send you?
No.
I'm here to help you. That's what they all say. Right before they kill you. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to offer you a choice. Come with me and testify against Moretti. Get real protection. Real justice. Or stay here and wait for his people to find you. Because they will. It's only a matter of time. The gun lowered slightly. Who are you really? Someone who understands what it's like to be hunted. Someone who knows Moretti needs to be stopped. Someone who's tired of watching him destroy innocent people. The door opened wider. Russo stood there, looking older than his photograph. Tired.
Scared. Defeated.
If I testify, he'll kill my family, Russo said. If you don't, he'll kill you, and then he'll kill your family anyway. At least this way, you have a chance.
He thought about that.
Then nodded. Okay.
But not just me.
My wife and kids. They come too. They get protection too. I'll make sure of it. We left the cabin together. I drove him back to the city. Called Chun on the way. I have him. Where should I bring him? She gave me an address. Federal building. Safe.
Secure.
Away from Moretti's people. We were 15 minutes away when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Moretti's voice.
Cold. Angry. I am disappointed. I gave you a simple task.
Bring me Russo. And instead, you're delivering him to the police. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? My heart stopped.
How?
I told you. I know everything. I own everyone. Including Detective Chen.
No.
No, that couldn't be right. You're lying. Am I? Ask yourself how I knew about your plan. How I knew where you were going. How I know you're 15 minutes from the federal building. Someone told me, Elena. Someone you trusted. I looked at Russo. He was staring out the window, oblivious. What do you want? I asked. Change of plans. Bring Russo to the warehouse district. Pier 7. You know where it is.
Come alone. Come now.
Or Dorothy dies. I'll send you the video feed so you can watch. He hung up. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe, trying to think. Chun was working for Moretti. Or she wasn't, and he was lying. Either way, I was trapped. If I went to the federal building, Moretti would know. If I went to the warehouse, I'd be walking into a trap. And Dorothy would die if I did neither. Russo was looking at me now. What's wrong? Change of plans, I said. We're not going to the federal building. Why not? Because I was out of options. Out of allies. Out of hope. I drove to Pier 7. The warehouse district was abandoned at night. Just empty buildings and rusted shipping containers and the sound of water lapping against concrete. I pulled up to Pier 7. Killed the engine. Russo was shaking. This is wrong. This feels wrong. Stay in the car, I told him. What? Stay here. Lock the doors. If anything happens, if you hear gunfire or shouting, you drive away. You go straight to the police. Real police. Federal building downtown. Ask for Agent Marcus Webb. Tell him everything. Tell him Detective Chun might be compromised. Tell him I sent you. What about you? I'll be fine. I wasn't fine. Wasn't even close to fine. But I couldn't let Russo see how scared I was. I got out of the car, walked toward the warehouse. The door was open, light spilling out, shadows moving inside. I stepped through. The warehouse was massive, empty except for a single chair in the center. Dorothy sat in that chair, tied up,
Gagged.
Two of Moretti's men stood behind her, guns drawn. Lorenzo stood off to the side. Still couldn't speak properly, but his eyes said everything. You came, he said.
Good.
That shows you can still follow instructions when properly motivated. Let her go. I brought Russo. He's outside in the car. I know. I have people watching. But Elena, we need to discuss your betrayal. You weren't bringing him to me. You were bringing him to the police. I changed my mind. He's here now. Only because I caught you. Only because I made you change course. That's not loyalty, Elena. That's fear. And I need more than fear from you. I need commitment. He walked over to Dorothy, pulled off her gag. She gasped, looked at me with eyes full of tears. Ellie, you shouldn't have come. Quiet, Moretti said. He turned back to me. Here's how this works. You have a choice. Prove your loyalty right here, right now. Or everyone dies. Starting with her. What do you want me to do? He pulled out a gun, handed it to me. Kill her. The world stopped.
What?
Kill Dorothy. Pull the trigger. Prove you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Prove you're mine.
Or refuse, and I kill her anyway. Then I kill you. Then I kill Russo and his family. Everyone loses except me. I stared at the gun in my hand, at Dorothy's face, at the impossible choice he was forcing me to make. I can't. You can. You've killed before. 17 confirmed kills, remember? What's one more? She's innocent. She saved my life. And now you can save hers. Pull the trigger. Make it quick. Then we move forward. You work for me. Dorothy's family gets protection. Russo gets protection. Everyone survives. All you have to do is prove you're serious. My hand was shaking. The gun felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds.
Dorothy was looking at me.
Not with fear. Not with anger. With something else. Acceptance.
Peace.
It's okay, she said softly. Elena, it's okay. I'm old. I've lived my life. My daughter's safe. My grandchildren are safe. That's all that matters. So, if this is what you need to do to survive, if this is the only way out, then do it. I forgive you.
Dorothy, no. Yes. Do it.
Let me be the reason you survive. Let me be the sacrifice that saves you. Tears were streaming down my face. I can't. I won't. Then we all die, Moretti said. Is that really what you want? Everyone dead because you're too weak to make hard choices. I looked at him, at Dorothy, at the guards, at the gun in my hand, and I made a choice. I turned the gun on Moretti.
No.
I'm done making hard choices. I'm done compromising. I'm done letting people like you force me to become a monster. Moretti laughed. You're going to shoot me? In front of my men? They'll kill you before you get a second shot. I don't need a second shot. One bullet. Center mass.
UD.
And maybe that's enough. And, Dorothy, your men kill her. Then they kill me. Then it's over. At least I die knowing I didn't become you. Something changed in his expression. Not fear. Respect. Genuine respect. You really mean it, he said. You'd actually choose death over compromise. Every time. Then you're stronger than I thought. Stronger than most people. And that's exactly why I need you working for me. He gestured to his guards. They lowered their weapons. Started untying Dorothy. What are you doing? I asked. Testing you. You passed. I needed to know if you were really as principled as you seemed. If you'd actually choose honor over survival. Most people don't. Most people break when you push hard enough. But not you. You were ready to die rather than compromise. That's rare. Valuable. Dorothy was free. She rushed to me. Hugged me tight. Get her out of here, Moretti said to his guards. Take her back to her family. Make sure they're protected. All of them.
I don't understand, I said.
You were going to kill her.
No.
I was going to see what you'd do. Whether you'd kill for me or die for her. You chose dying for her. Which means when you do eventually work for me, when you do eventually accept that this is the only path forward, I'll know you're genuine. I'll know you're not just pretending. I'll know you're really committed. I'm never working for you. We'll see. Elena, you're running out of options. Running out of friends. Running out of time. Eventually, you'll realize that working with me is the only way to survive. And when you do, when you finally accept reality, I'll be waiting. He walked away. His guards followed. Dorothy and I stood there in that empty warehouse holding each other, and I realized something. I'd won the battle, but I was losing the war. Moretti was right. I was running out of options. Out of allies. Out of ways to fight him that didn't involve becoming exactly what he wanted me to be. But then I remembered something Detective Chun had said. About building a case. About testimony. About taking him down legally. And I realized there was one option I hadn't tried yet. One path I'd been avoiding because it meant trusting the system that had already betrayed me once. But maybe, just maybe, it was time to try trust one more time.
Dorothy, I said.
I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you to testify. About the diner. About Moretti. About everything you've seen and heard. I need you to help me build a case against him. Sweetie, he'll kill me. Not if we do this right. Not if we go federal. Not if we get protection from people he doesn't own. You really think that'll work? I don't know. But I have to try. Because the alternative is letting him win. And I can't do that. I won't. Dorothy thought about it. Then nodded. Okay. I'll testify. I'll do whatever it takes. But Elena, promise me something. What? Promise me you'll survive this. Promise me you won't sacrifice yourself trying to save everyone else. You deserve to live. You deserve to be happy. Promise me you won't forget that. I promised. Even though I wasn't sure I could keep that promise. We left the warehouse. I drove Dorothy to a hotel. Called Chun.
Elena?
Thank God. I've been trying to reach you. Moretti called me. Threatened me. Said if I helped you he'd kill my family.
I'm so sorry.
I wanted to help but he lied to me, I said. Told me you were working for him.
What? No.
I'd never. Elena, you have to believe me.
Ida.
And I need your help. Real help. Federal help. I have Dorothy. I have Russo. And I'm ready to testify. All of us. But we need protection. Real protection. From people Moretti doesn't own. I can do that. I have contacts. FBI. People I trust. Give me 12 hours to set it up. Can you stay safe that long? I'll have to. I hung up. Looked at Dorothy. 12 hours. Then we end this. She smiled. Tired. Scared. But hopeful. 12 hours. We spent that night in the hotel room. Didn't sleep. Just talked. About life. About choices. About how we'd both ended up here. You know what I realized? Dorothy said around 3 in the morning. We're all just trying to survive. Some of us do it by being good. Some by being bad. But we're all just scared people trying to make it through another day. You think Moretti's scared? I think he's terrified. That's why he needs so much control. So much power. Because deep down he knows it can all disappear. And that scares him more than anything. Maybe she was right. Maybe Lorenzo Moretti, the most powerful criminal in 3 states, was just another scared person trying to hold onto what he had. But that didn't make him less dangerous. At dawn, Chun called. It's set. Federal agents are coming. 2 hours. They'll take all 3 of you into custody. Get you to a safe location. Start the process. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Elena, this is going to be hard.
Testifying.
Living in protection. Starting over again.
Are you ready for that?
I've started over before. I can do it again. 2 hours later, federal agents arrived. Professional. Efficient. They took Dorothy, Russo, and me to separate vehicles. Explain the process. What would happen next? I was getting into the SUV when I saw him. Lorenzo Moretti, standing across the street, just watching. He didn't try to stop us. Didn't interfere. Just stood there with that wired jaw and those dark eyes and watched me leave. And for just a moment, I saw something in his expression that I hadn't expected. Sadness. Like he was losing something he'd wanted to keep. Then the SUV door closed, and we drove away. And I let myself believe, just for a moment, that maybe this time, the system wouldn't fail me. Maybe this time, justice would actually win. The federal safe house was 3 hours outside the city. Remote. Secure. Guards posted at every entrance. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. The debriefing took 2 days. FBI agents asking questions, recording testimony, building their case piece by piece. I told them everything. About the diner. About Moretti's threats. About Marcus's betrayal. About the warehouse. Everything. Dorothy testified about the harassment, the fire, the threats against her family. Russo provided financial records, details about Moretti's operations.
Names. Dates.
Transactions. Everything the FBI needed to build a racketeering case. This is good, Agent Webb told me on the 3rd day. Really good. With this testimony, with Russo's evidence, we can actually make charges stick. Moretti's going down. You're sure? Because he's gotten away with everything before. This time is different. We're not going through local courts. Not using local prosecutors. This is federal. And we've been watching Moretti for years. Waiting for the right opportunity. You've given us that opportunity. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to think it was finally over. But I'd learned the hard way that nothing was ever really over. On the 4th day, Chen came to visit. How are you holding up? She asked. I've been better. But I'm alive. That's something. It's more than something. Elena, you did it. You beat him. Moretti's finished. Is he? Because he's still out there. Still free. Still powerful. Not for long. The arrest warrants are being prepared. Federal marshals are mobilizing. By the end of the week, he'll be in custody. And then what? He gets a trial? Gets lawyers? Gets to fight this for years while his people hunt everyone who testified against him. That's how the system works. The system. I laughed. Bitter. The system burned me. The system lets people like Moretti operate for decades. Excuse me if I don't have a lot of faith in the system. Chun sat down across from me. I understand your cynicism. I do. But Elena, this is all we have. The law. Due process. It's not perfect. But it's better than the alternative. What alternative? Vigilante justice. People taking matters into their own hands. That's not justice. That's just revenge with better PR. She was right. I knew she was right. But part of me, the part that had been trained to solve problems permanently, still wanted to just eliminate the threat. Make sure Moretti could never hurt anyone again. What happens to me after the trial? I asked. Witness protection. New identity. New location. You disappear and start fresh. It's not a bad deal. I've disappeared before. It didn't work out great. This time will be different. Federal protection is real. Secure. Moretti won't find you. I thought about that. About disappearing again. About becoming someone new. About running for the rest of my life. What if I don't want to disappear? I said. What if I want my life back? My real life. My real name. That's not an option. Not if you testify. Moretti has too many people. Too many resources. You'd never be safe. So that was it. Testify and disappear. Or don't testify and watch Moretti walk free. Another impossible choice. On the 5th day, everything changed. Agent Webb came into my room early. His expression was wrong. Worried. What's wrong? I asked. Russo's dead. The words hit like a punch.
What? How?
He was in federal protection. He was safe. Heart attack. At least that's what the initial report says. But Elena, he was 47.
Healthy.
No history of heart problems. This doesn't feel right. Moretti got to him.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do. He has people everywhere. Even in federal protection. Even here. God, we're not safe. None of us are safe. Webb tried to calm me down.
Elena, listen.
We're investigating. We're checking everyone. Everyone who had access to Russo. Everyone who knew where he was. We'll find out what happened. But I already knew what happened. Moretti had killed him. Poisoned him, or paid someone to poison him. Made it look natural. And he'd done it to send a message. To show that nowhere was safe. That he could reach anyone. Anywhere. Dorothy found me an hour later. She'd heard about Russo. We need to leave, she said. Right now. This place isn't safe. Where would we go? Dorothy, he can find us anywhere. Then what do we do? Just sit here and wait to die. I didn't have an answer. That night, I couldn't sleep. Just lay in bed staring at the ceiling and thinking about Russo. About his family. About how he'd trusted the system to protect him, and the system had failed. Just like it failed me. Around 2 a.m, I heard something. Footsteps in the hallway. Too quiet. Too careful. I grabbed the gun they'd given me for protection. Moved to the door. Listened. More footsteps. Multiple people. Moving through the safe house. This wasn't right. The guards wouldn't move like that. Wouldn't be that quiet. I opened my door carefully. The hallway was dark. I could see shadows moving. At least 4 people.
Armed.
Moving toward the rooms where Dorothy and I were staying. They'd found us. Moretti's people had found us. I moved fast. Went to Dorothy's room. She was already awake. Already scared. They're here, I whispered. Who? Moretti's people. We need to go.
Now.
We moved toward the back exit. I could hear the intruders clearing rooms. Professional. Military precision. These weren't just street thugs. These were specialists. We made it to the back door. I checked outside.
Clear.
We ran toward the tree line. Gunfire erupted behind us. They'd spotted us. Bullets tore through the trees. I grabbed Dorothy.
Pulled her down.
Returned fire. 3 shots. Heard someone scream. Kept moving. We ran through the woods for what felt like hours. Finally found a road. Flagged down a truck. The driver took one look at us, at the gun in my hand, and hit the gas. We kept walking. Eventually found a gas station. I used the payphone to call Chen.
Elena?
Where are you? The safe house was attacked. 3 agents dead. We thought you were dead too. We got out.
Barely.
Chen Moretti's people found us.
How?
How did they know where we were? Silence. Then, I don't know. But Elena, you need to come in. Let us protect you properly. Your protection got Russo killed. Got 3 agents killed. How can I trust you? Because I'm all you have left. She was right. I was out of options. Out of places to run. Out of people to trust. But I couldn't keep running. Couldn't keep letting Moretti hunt me while I waited for the system to maybe possibly protect me someday. I needed to end this. Permanently. I know where Moretti will be tomorrow night, I said. There's a charity gala. Big event. Lots of press. Lots of witnesses. He'll be there. He always is. Elena, what are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time to stop playing defense. Time to take the fight to him. That's suicide. He'll have security everywhere. You'll never get close. I've gotten close to harder targets. I can do this. And then what? You kill him? Become exactly what he wanted you to be? A weapon? A killer? Better a killer than a victim. Elena, don't do this. Let us handle it. Let the law work. The law isn't working.
People are dying.
And they'll keep dying until someone stops him. So I'm going to stop him. I hung up before she could argue more. Dorothy was looking at me. You're really going to do this? I don't see another choice. There's always a choice.
You taught me that.
Sometimes all the choices are bad. You just have to pick the least bad option. And this is the least bad option? Killing him.
I thought about that.
About Lorenzo Moretti. About the man who'd offered me a partnership.
Who'd tested me.
Who'd looked sad when I chose to testify against him. I don't want to kill him, I admitted. But I don't know how else to stop him. He's too powerful. Too connected. The system can't touch him. So, what other option is there? Dorothy took my hand. You could walk away. Just disappear. Let him have his empire. You survive. I survive. We start over somewhere else. And he wins. He keeps destroying lives. Keeps threatening people. Keeps being untouchable. That's not an ending. That's just giving up. Maybe giving up is okay sometimes. Maybe survival is more important than justice. Maybe she was right. Maybe I should just walk away. Start over for the third or fourth time. Keep running forever. But I was tired of running. Tired of hiding. Tired of being afraid. It was time to end this. One way or another. The charity gala was at the Grand Hotel. Black tie. Elite guest list. The kind of event where criminals and politicians and business leaders all pretended to be respectable while making deals in the shadows. I got in through the catering staff. Simple disguise. Black uniform. Tray of champagne. Nobody looks at the servers. The ballroom was massive. Crystal chandeliers. Orchestra playing. Hundreds of people in expensive clothes drinking expensive wine and pretending to care about whatever charity this was supposed to support. And there, in the center of it all, was Lorenzo Moretti. He'd gotten the jaw wiring removed.
Could speak normally again. He was surrounded by people.
Laughing.
Charming.
Playing the part of respectable businessman perfectly. I moved through the crowd. Careful. Invisible. Just another server. Got closer. Closer. He saw me. Our eyes met across the ballroom. His expression didn't change. Didn't show surprise or alarm. Just slight recognition. Like he'd been expecting me. He excused himself from his group. Walked toward a side door. Looked back at me once. An invitation. I followed. The side door led to a private lounge. Quiet. Empty. Just the two of us. Elena, he said. I wondered if you'd come. You knew I'd be here. I hoped. After the safe house attack. After Russo. I thought you might finally understand that the only way to end this is directly. No police.
No courts.
Just you and me. You killed Russo. You killed those agents. I did what I had to do to protect myself.
Just like you're doing now.
We're not so different, Elena. We're nothing alike, aren't we? We're both survivors. Both willing to do terrible things for good reasons. Both betrayed by the systems we trusted. Both alone in a world that doesn't care whether we live or die. He moved closer. Not threatening. Just close enough to really see me. To really be seen. I meant what I said at dinner, he continued. About working together. About building something. We could do real good, Elena. Help people who need helping. Stop people who need stopping. Make this city better. By breaking the law? By becoming criminals? By doing what needs to be done. The law doesn't protect everyone.
You know that.
You've seen it.
So have I.
Sometimes you have to go outside the law to get real justice. That's just an excuse. A rationalization for doing whatever you want.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's the truth. Maybe the world is more complicated than right and wrong. Maybe survival requires compromise. And maybe that's okay. I pulled out the gun. The one I'd brought. The one I'd been carrying this whole time. I came here to kill you, I said. To end this. To make sure you never hurt anyone again. He didn't react. Didn't show fear. Just looked at the gun. Then at me.
Then do it, he said.
Pull the trigger. Become what your agency made you. Become the weapon. Become exactly what you've been running from. My hand was shaking. The gun felt impossibly heavy. What are you waiting for? He asked softly. You've killed before. 17 confirmed kills. What's one more? Especially when this one actually deserves it. When this one is actually guilty of everything you think I am. I'm not a killer. Yes, you are. That's what they trained you to be. That's what you're good at. So stop pretending you're something else and just pull the trigger.
I wanted to. God, I wanted to.
Wanted to end this. Wanted to make him stop talking. Stop making sense. Stop forcing me to question everything I thought I knew about myself. But I couldn't. Because he was right. If I killed him, I'd become exactly what he said I was. A weapon. A killer. Nothing more. I lowered the gun. I'm not going to kill you, I said. But I'm not going to let you in either. Then what are you going to do? I thought about that question. About all the impossible choices I'd faced. About how every path seemed to lead to compromise or death. And then I realized something. Something important. I'm going to tell the truth, I said. Not in court. Not through the system. But publicly. I'm going to expose everything. Your operations. Your corruption. Your crimes. I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who Lorenzo Moretti really is. And then I'm going to let the world decide what to do about it. For the first time since I'd met him, Lorenzo Moretti looked genuinely surprised. You're going to go public? Tell your story? That's your plan?
Yes.
Because you're right about one thing. The system is broken. The law doesn't always work. But you know what does work? Public pressure. Transparency. When enough people know the truth, even powerful men can't hide. I'll sue you for defamation. Ruin you financially. With what? I have nothing.
No assets.
No identity. Nothing you can take. But I have my story. And I have evidence. And I have witnesses. That's enough. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. Genuinely smiled. Not cruel. Almost proud. You're smarter than I gave you credit for, he said. Most people would have just pulled the trigger. But you found a third option. One I didn't see coming. That's impressive. So, you'll just let me walk out of here? Let me expose you.
No.
But I'm not going to kill you either. Because, Elena, you're right. We could have built something together. And I'm genuinely sorry it didn't work out that way. So consider this a professional courtesy. You get a 24-hour head start. After that, all bets are off. Why? Because despite everything, I respect you. And because deep down I think you're right. Maybe it is time for the truth to come out. Maybe I've been hiding too long. So go. Tell your story. Expose me. Let's see what happens. I didn't trust it. Didn't believe he'd really just let me walk away. But I didn't have much choice. I left the lounge, left the hotel, and started making calls. By morning, my story was everywhere. Every news outlet, every social media platform. Elena Carter, former intelligence operative, exposing Lorenzo Moretti's criminal empire. Complete with documents, recordings,
Testimony.
The public response was immediate. Outrage. Demands for investigation. Pressure on law enforcement to act. Moretti couldn't hide anymore. Couldn't buy his way out. The spotlight was too bright. The scrutiny too intense. Within a week, federal marshals arrested him. Within a month, he was indicted on multiple charges. Within 3 months, he was on trial. And I testified.
Publicly.
In open court. Told everything. He sat there the whole time. Listening. Never objecting. Never interrupting. Just watching me with those dark eyes. And when I finished, when I'd said everything I needed to say, he actually nodded. Like he approved. Like I'd passed some final test. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Came back with guilty verdicts on all counts. Lorenzo Moretti was sentenced to life in prison without parole. It was over. Finally over. 6 months after the trial, I was sitting in a coffee shop in Seattle when a woman sat down across from me.
Detective Chun.
Except she wasn't a detective anymore. FBI, she said, showing her new credentials. They promoted me. Turns out bringing down the biggest crime boss in 3 states looks good on a resume. Congratulations. You should be congratulating yourself. You did it, Elena. You beat him. Did I? He's in prison, but his organization is still out there. His people are still operating. Nothing really changed. Everything changed.
You proved he could be touched.
That he wasn't untouchable. That's huge. Maybe. But it didn't feel huge. Just felt exhausting. What about you?
Chun asked.
What are you doing in Seattle? Starting over. Again. Trying to figure out who Elena Carter is supposed to be now that she's not running anymore. And I have no idea. I thought I'd feel relief. Freedom. But mostly, I just feel tired. Chen slid an envelope across the table. Maybe this'll help. I opened it. Inside was an offer letter. FBI consultant. Specialized investigations. High-risk operations. Good pay. Full benefits. My real name. My real identity. Legal. Official. We want to hire you, Chen said. Use your skills properly. Give you the support you never had before. Let you do the work you're good at, but with actual backup. Actual protection.
Actual accountability.
I'm tired of being a weapon. Then don't be a weapon. Be an investigator. Be someone who finds truth and brings justice. Be the person you've been trying to become. I looked at the offer letter. At my real name printed on official FBI letterhead. At the chance to finally stop running and start living. Can I think about it? I asked. Take all the time you need. But Elena, don't wait too long. The world needs people like you. People who choose truth over compromise. Who choose justice over vengeance. Who choose to keep fighting even when it would be easier to give up. She left. I sat there with my coffee and the offer letter and thought about everything that had happened. I'd started this journey as a ghost. A woman with no name, no identity, no purpose. Just surviving day by day in Dorothy's diner. Then Lorenzo Moretti spit on me, and I remembered who I used to be. And I'd spent months trying to figure out who I wanted to become. Not a weapon. Not a ghost. Not a victim. Just Elena. Someone who stood up for what was right even when it cost everything. Someone who chose the hard path because it was the right path. Someone who refused to compromise her values no matter how impossible the situation seemed. I took out my phone. Called Dorothy. Hey sweetie, she answered. How's Seattle? Rainy. But beautiful. How are you? Good. Really good. The insurance finally came through. I'm rebuilding the diner. Should be open in a few months. That's wonderful. You should come back. Help me run it. Like old times. I smiled. I don't think I'm meant to be a waitress anymore, Dorothy. Then what are you meant to be? I looked at the FBI offer letter. At the chance to do real good. To use my skills for something meaningful. To finally stop running and start living. I'm figuring that out, I said. But I think I'm getting close. Good. You deserve happiness, Elena. You deserve peace. After everything you've been through, you deserve to just be happy. We talked for another hour. About nothing important.
About life.
About plans. About the future. When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real hope. Not the desperate kind that comes from having no other options. But genuine hope that maybe, finally, things could be okay. I signed the FBI offer letter. Sent it back. Started the process of officially becoming Elena Carter again. Not a ghost. Not a weapon. Just a person trying to make the world a little bit better. 3 months later, I was sitting at my new desk in the FBI field office when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. Hello.
Anna.
That voice.
Deep.
Controlled.
Impossible.
Lorenzo Moretti. How are you calling me? You're in prison. Prison is just another building. And buildings can't hold people who have enough resources. Enough motivation. Enough will. My heart was pounding. What do you want? To congratulate you.
On your new job. On your new life.
On finally becoming who you're meant to be. Are you watching me? Always. Did you really think this was over? That putting me in prison ended anything? Elena, I told you once. We're not so different. We're both survivors. And survivors find ways to keep surviving no matter what. If you're threatening me, I'm not threatening you. I'm just reminding you that the game isn't over. That we're still playing. And that eventually you're going to realize I was right. That the only way to truly change the world is to go outside the rules. To become what you were always meant to be. I'm never working for you.
We'll see.
The world has a way of forcing people to make impossible choices. And when you face your next impossible choice, when you realize the system you're trusting will fail you again, you'll remember this conversation. You'll remember that I offered you a partnership. And maybe, Just maybe you'll reconsider. He hung up. I sat there staring at my phone and realized something. Lorenzo Moretti was right about one thing. This wasn't over. Maybe it would never be over. Maybe I'd spend the rest of my life dealing with the consequences of breaking his jaw in that diner. But I also realized something else. I was okay with that. I'd spent years running from my past, from my training, from who I used to be, but now I understood that I didn't have to run anymore. I could be both Elena the operator and Elena the person, could use my skills for good, could choose justice without becoming a killer, could finally be at peace with who I was. I opened my desk drawer. Inside was a photograph Dorothy had given me. All of us at the diner.
Dorothy, Carl, me.
Smiling.
Happy.
Normal. That's who I was fighting for. That's who I'd always been fighting for. The normal people. The good people. The ones who deserve protection from monsters like Moretti. And if he wanted to keep playing games, wanted to keep testing me, wanted to keep trying to corrupt me, that was fine. Because I wasn't afraid anymore. Wasn't running anymore. Wasn't hiding anymore. I was Elena Carter. Former ghost. Former weapon. Current FBI consultant. And I was ready for whatever came next. So wherever you are right now, whatever you're doing, whatever impossible choices you're facing, remember this. You're stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and capable of more than you know. Don't let anyone, not systems, not criminals, not even your own doubts, tell you otherwise.
Choose truth.
Choose justice. Choose to keep fighting even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because that's what makes us human. That's what makes us more than just survivors. That's what makes us heroes in our own stories. Thank you for listening to mine. I hope it reminded you that no matter how impossible things seem, there's always a choice. Always a way forward. Always hope. If this story resonated with you, if it made you feel something, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories. And comment below telling me what you would have done in my situation. Would you have taken Moretti's offer? Would you have run? Would you have fought? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to figure out how to be good people in a complicated world. And sometimes, sharing our stories, hearing each other's perspectives, that's what helps us find our way. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and never, ever let anyone make you feel small. This is Elena Carter, signing off. But something tells me you'll be hearing from me again soon. Because Lorenzo Moretti was right about one thing. The game's not over. And I have a feeling the next unfolding series of event is going to be even more complicated than this one.
See you then.